a lot to be known about people. You gotta reach them, see it around.
If we don't show up tomorrow,
listen,
it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
by the way, this is the same person that said this to Trump nearly 40 years ago. Go ahead, Rob.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about these boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just finished 15 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 16th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. The secret to a rich life is to have more beginnings and endings. Donald J. Trump is an example of the above. He was anointed by God, who turned his head into a bullet that hit his ear instead of his brain. If you know the Torah, the Bible, this type of blessing was afforded to Aaron from his brother Moses in Leviticus. Trump just annihilated his enemies all over the world, especially the liberal nut jobs throughout the swamp, college professors, the MSM, the UN, the world agenda. From my perspective, I'm witnessing a referendum of Jews voting for Trump and fighting their own anti-annihilation attempt by Iran and its puppets that included the Lib senators, House and MSM. God's guidance has worked overtime for the legitimate war against Hezbollah, Hamas, who demand to kill all Jews, Christians, and moderate Muslims all over the world. Bibi Netanyahu has been chastised into now understanding that the solution to saving God's chosen people was to put a stop to it with clarity and determination, to eviscerate the threat to Jews in Israel and all over the world. Trump is a major factor in his Abraham Accords, and I believe he will accomplish peace and prosperity because both have God on their side. Victories often occur when you see no way to succeed, but refuse to give up anyway. May God help you with advice and a miracle here and there for your battles against evil that seem like you have no chance. Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. My name is Dave Weinbaum, and my birthday is today, so I let's get that out of the way, because I don't want it to be a huge distraction, because I love the fact that people are paying attention to me and stuff like this, but I got a job to do here. Okay, I've got to report what I see. We got a
Okay, quit whining.
Yes, what?
Quit whining.
I'm not whining.
This is all an act of love.
Okay, yes, I have balloons behind me. I got a whole table full of stuff. I got this amazing shirt. All right, how am I?
That was custom made for you.
Yes, custom made for me. I will be wearing it and drive through probably today.
You look like you're the Riddler or something.
And yeah, look at this. This is by Judy in the office.
Isn't
Just
that
gave
cool?
it to me. It's very cool. Yes, it's got Dave on it and a few McDonald's things on there, like 350 or so. Okay. Oh, I made it. Anyways, but we got a great show today. Let me tell you who's going to be on this show. First of all, we got the rabbi calling from Israel, hopefully with a lot of scoops and good news. Then we have J.J. Bradshaw, who is the opening act to the show until the rabbi has trouble with his time slot. Then after him, we've got Joe Dalton. He's going to be here for about 15 minutes to talk about saving babies. That's what he does. Then we have at 9:30. Who do we got? Let's see. We've got Bill Hardwick, the representative from this area, who's always a great guest, a very smart guy. And then we got the McCloskies on at 10 o'clock, and that should be terrific. I gotta move my phone, because you know why? Everybody is calling me, and it's bugging me, and I love it. That's my daughter Amy. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. I doubt she's listening to the show, but I do appreciate the happy birthday comments. And then we've got it's kind of a little sad because I think he lost, and that's Jeff Zink, and we got to cheer him up. He's a good guy, and he's a preacher, kinesiologist, and all that. And let's see if we can't pick Zink up, and let's get him through this tough time. We all go through these rough little patches, and we want to keep. If we see that this is what we want to do, we got to keep doing it until we win.
And of course, America gave you a great birthday present back on Tuesday night. Holy cow!
Oh wow! Because I don't know about you, but I was watching this thing, and I thought for a good while that somehow Trump made a mistake again, and really didn't understand what was going on in the country. And boy, did he understand, and did they do a job. Now, if they'd done this in 2020, he would have beat Biden. There's no doubt in my mind that was fixed. They stopped the fixing early.
Yeah, they fixed it, and now all the talk on CNN, NBC, all the liberal networks is, where do we go wrong? And they admit they completely disconnected. They did not have the message right, and that Trump and the conservative party nailed it.
Well, as we talked about, on this show for a long time, the things that they did to Trump were just outrageous. We have the rabbi showing up, so I think I'm going to cut there. But I do want to say, did I get all the people? Yes. But I didn't introduce J.P. Maxwell, the producer of the show, and the assistant producer, Rick Henderson, down there in Salem, does all the bits and clips, and my lovely bride, Lisa Ann Weinbaum, or as she calls herself, the Law.
Do you know what I did to celebrate your birthday this morning?
Do I know what you did to celebrate my birthday?
After you left.
I hate to say this. Did you check the will?
I also had a lox and bagel sandwich this
did?
morning. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Living the life, baby.
In honor of you.
Look at what I got there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a treat now. He is well, let's see, let's get back to his page. He is a wartime rabbi. He takes your dollars and he buys necessary clothing and weaponry and supplies for the IDF. He's the second most powerful in Israel and in his own house, according to his wife, Yonit. He is the official rabbi to the Dave Weinbaum Show, and he's been that way for just about 16 years. Please welcome all the way from Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
I'm great. Happy birthday, Dave.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, make him a little louder. He's getting shyer in his old age. Where did all that gray hair come from?
Maybe you can't hear as well in your old age.
Yeah, apparently you didn't hear my question about where did all the gray hair come from on your beard.
It's not gray, Dave. It's blonde.
Okay, where is that plastic that's over your eyes then? That's terrible. All right, so what did Bibi tell you about his call from Trump?
Oh, well, I was on the call. He had me.
Well, okay, so he didn't need that. Okay. Yeah.
So I think Bibi was the first world leader to call Trump and congratulate him, as far as I know.
Well, sure as hell wasn't Kamala.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm actually looking forward to the when the vice president has to swear him in. I think that's her role as vice president. That's going to be.
I don't know. We'll see. By that time, right now the Dems are all over each other. They're all pointing fingers at each. I mean, Nancy Pelosi and Donna Brazil. They almost got into a fist fight. Oh my God, I would pay to see that.
Yeah,
I would pay to see that.
They're just cannibalizing each other, the Dems right now.
Oh, they're all pointing fingers, and the mainstream media is pointing fingers, and liberal women are cutting their hair and telling men, not women, men, they will not have sex for the next 4 years with them. There go my weekend plans. All right, she's going to hit me now.
It is your birthday. I mean,
Well, it is my birthday. Come on, baby.
He needs lots of spankings.
I need lots of spankings.
Yeah.
She got me a candle to put on my my bagel and lox sandwich this morning. One candle.
There's a hole in the middle of the bagel.
She hits me in my butt pretty hard. And she says, I only got 75 more of those. I says, wait a minute. No, you set a precedent when you put only one candle in my sandwich. So therefore, you're done hitting my butt, girl. You just ain't going to do it no more. No more. So the Jerusalem Post, Trump's victory may force Hamas to make a deal with Dopey Joe instead of Trump. Are you hearing any of this stuff?
Yeah, I did hear that because I think they would prefer to deal with Biden, where they have a better chance at getting a better deal because Biden will put added pressure on Israel that Trump won't put. And so, but they don't always think logically, so that might be a logical conclusion, that people are suggesting. But at the end of the day, they would have agreed to a ceasefire a long time ago, but they're not really acting logical. So
it appears that they're not guided by logic. They're getting their butts killed over there, and there's some civilian damage there, but you still got about 100 hostages. And how many U.S. hostages? About 10?
A little less than that, but you still have, I think, 7 maybe, right? But you still have U.S. hostages
Yeah, what
there.
the hell's that about? Nobody
Well,
mentions them at all in
right.
this country.
Trump did when he was a candidate. He mentioned them. He warned Hamas. He said they better be out by the time I'm president.
Well, okay. Let's see
Uh,
what happens with that. Now, maybe if Joe Biden goes along with keeping Trump in on this, maybe they can get this done beforehand.
there are things the U.S. could tighten the screws. For example, the country of Qatar has the largest United States base there, and they just re-upped that for another 10 years. And it's very, very important to the country of Qatar. And the United States could say, hey, we're going to close down the base, or they could threaten Egypt with the billions that they give to Egypt, and they could threaten to bankrupt Egypt, but they haven't done any of that under Biden. But they could if they want to, and it would really turn the screws on Qatar and Egypt, who have influence over Hamas.
So I'm getting these visions, so to speak, of this defense minister Gallant, fired by Bibi. Is this guy a bit of a liberal? He wants to sign a piece, almost desperately wanting to sign on with what the hell is this? How weak is this guy?
Gallant is part of Bibi's party, but while in office, he's been contradicting Bibi. He's caused all kinds of problems. He's moved a bit to the left, and he's been a real problem. And I think Bibi waited until the U.S. election and fired him on the day of the U.S. election. That why, all the media attention was really focused on Trump, and it kind of lessened a bit the attention to the firing of Gallant.
Big turnout for Jews voting for Trump.
Yeah,
Jews had the light. They've seen the light, and
he had a record turnout of Jewish voters. And the statistics are quite shocking.
Yeah,
as to like in New York, he almost got 50% of the Jewish vote.
That's amazing. That's up from what, about 600%?
Years. No one came close since maybe Reagan. But
that's why I keep saying there's a wake up call to a lot of Jews in Israel and outside of Israel.
Yeah,
I mean, look what you got right now. You got people running around Amsterdam trying to kill Jews. They're chasing Jews down like Kristallnacht in Germany. All of a sudden.
It's unclear what's going on. There could be another hostage situation there. That's what we're reporting. Yeah. So, I mean, we're not all the details have come out yet, but the one difference though is that Israel has sent planes to pick up our citizens. You didn't have that in the 1930s. There was no Israel.
Well, here's another thing, a suggestion. I've raised this before. Is that I don't know what you'd call them, but probably along with Mossad and the IDF, you could develop a group that would be not just be in Israel, but on call to go elsewhere where Jews are being attacked, and to either help the authorities or who are supposed to be monitoring this and stopping it, or taking over for the authorities. Do these people think they have a right to kill Jews?
Right.
Well, what about that? Is that a bad idea?
No, I think it's a good idea. Obviously, it represents certain technical problems. I know I was a little bit involved in. There was a guy running for president in Africa, in Liberia, and he wanted to hire Israeli security to come. It's not so simple because you need permission from the governments to carry weapons, and so assuming they can get over that hurdle, it's not a bad idea.
Well, what are you going to do if they're killing Jews there, and even if they don't have the guns, if you can't have these people doing this nilly-willy like they appear to think they can do it.
The embassy in in Holland has taken action. It's become a refuge. They are armed there. But
They didn't stop it for a while, though. That they let it go for a long time, from what I've read.
Let it go. Yeah, that's. But you know what? In in Europe, they're kind of used to having violence at soccer games, and they just let them kill each other.
This is not violence at soccer games. This is a crime against Jews. It's a whole different. It's a focused crime. It's not some drunken soccer fans fighting each other because their guy got a goal and the other guy whiffed on it.
Right.
So,
but we'll I'm sure within the next 24 hours we'll know more details.
When you talk to Bibi, right after this interview, I'm sure, as you do every time, would you mention that, please?
I'll tell him. I'll get him on the phone right away.
Get him on the phone and tell him Weinbaum says, "Look, come on, you gotta help. You gotta be more than just Israel. You've got to be a little wider, and it's the same issue. You don't let people kill Jews and get away with it."
I will tell him, but I'll leave out the Weinbaum part. I'll steal the idea and pretend it's mine.
Well, I figured that anyways. So you steal my jokes. What the hell? All right. Hey, so Iran is threatening Israel and the USA, and my question to that is, with what? What are they going to do?
Well, they were talking about firing now from Iraq, and coordinating with their other, with the Houthis and with the Hezbollah, and coordinating, having this massive coordinated attack. And they said it was going to happen on Tuesday, the night of the election. So, I don't know. But I think if they try one more time, our next response is going to be devastating, because one of the things that was holding us back was Biden and the elections.
Yeah,
he didn't want gas prices to surge, and if we attacked their source of their income, namely their oil fields, gas prices would spike. And that would have hurt, Harris, even though little did they know she killed herself already. But now there's nothing really holding us back from a full strike against their economy, against the nuclear weapons, and so on.
Okay, I have a scoop. I'm going to have to sort of guess, not I don't have the exact same thing, but I can't read it from the phone because the stuff is too small. But we have a scoop right now from Karen Lewis in Salem, Missouri, that President Donald J. Trump has resigned. He resigned.
He resigned?
He wrote a letter addressed to the management of McDonald's.
Oh,
he said, as of September 20th, 2005, I have to resign. And I want to thank you for my time at McDonald's of working French fries and being in charge of the drive-through and flipping hamburgers. And I will always love my time and experience at McDonald's, and I'll think always very highly of you. Signed Donald J. Trump.
Is he going to resign from being also?
Yeah, I'm serious. Who the hell's that? Oh, that was somebody at your house. I'm looking around. Wait a minute.
That was
what's going on over there?
See, she's lighting the candles there.
Oh, lighting the candles. We're almost there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm about done anyway. So, are there any rabbi rants or scoops?
No, but I just have to say, I'm on cloud nine. It's not only that Trump won; he won. They won the House, they won the Senate, they got the popular vote, and everything's lined up for some major changes for the good, both in the United States and here in the Middle East. And we're excited for January for things to get going.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So I've been keeping a watch on this because there's still 3 states that were not declared for Trump. They've now declared Alaska for Trump.
Really?
So he's up to 295 in electoral votes.
I thought he was 312 already.
No, he will get to 312 or 311 if he gets Nevada and also Arizona, which he's still leading in both, but they're still counting. And now the Senate race between Ruben Gallego and Kerry Lake has tightened.
Oh my God!
So it's now 49.8% of the vote to 48.2%. So she's narrowed the gap. There's only about a 40,000 difference in vote right now, and there's still votes out there.
She's been sending me money requests because she's so close, which right now I can't afford. So 53, she says she's getting 53% of the leftover votes, which means she's going to win, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But boy, are they screwed up there. We're going to talk to Jeff Zink a little later. But you have a great Sabbath, and hi to everybody and all those great kids you got, especially the one that's doing what. And Shabbat Shalom, my friend.
Shalom. All the best. Take care.
Bye bye. All right, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Give him a nice round of applause. And we got JJ coming on in about 15 minutes. Well, let's get a set of commercials out right away. If you want to sponsor the show, give me a call after the show, 573-578-2700, and let's get it off your chest.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Raleigh, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about Koi Sushi and Hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Nancy Pelosi.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
This is Nancy Pelosi. Okay, we're back now. We got JJ coming up next. And after that, we got Joe Dalton, and we got, hold on, I see we got a call here. Hold on. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I would never say in your case that you're fired, so I'll just say you're hired. Mr. President, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And, you know, we back you here all the way. You can see the Trump sign, and I'm sure you've heard the show. Can I come to the inauguration at least? I did give you some money. Hello? Is he still on?
I think he left.
He left?
Yeah, I think he's busy.
Oh, okay.
I think he's busy starting to drain the swamp.
All right. Well, Mr. President, if you heard this, please give me a call, 573-578-2700, all right? Or leave a message for me, okay? You've been leaving a lot of messages for me over the last couple of years, and I appreciate if you can contact me like you do, well, people like Robert F. Kennedy, people like Elon Musk. And I think I can help you, Mr. President. I can advise you. Just ask Bibi Netanyahu who gets his information from. Well, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild, second most powerful guy in Israel. Anywho, I think right now is a good time, since that wasn't funny at all, that we do something kind of funny. And let's do Carlin and Reagan, please.
Less than one family out of 7 in the Soviet Union owns an automobile. Most of the automobiles are driven by the bureaucrats. So an order went out one day to the police that anyone caught speeding, anyone, no matter who, gets a ticket. Well, Gorbachev came out of his country home, his dacha. He was late getting to the Kremlin. There was his limousine and driver waiting. He told the driver to get in the back seat, he'd drive it. Down the road he went. They passed 2 motorcycle cops. One took out after him. And pretty soon he's back with his buddy. And his buddy says, well, did you give him a ticket? And he said, no. Well, he said, why not? Oh, he said, that's too important. Well, he said, we're told to give anybody a ticket, no matter who it is. Oh, he said, no, this one was I could. Well, he said, who was it? He said, I couldn't recognize him. But his driver was Gorbachev.
What do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So listen. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs. What are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're weak and you got a weak immune system.
He's been trying to charge me for those 3 beeps he put in. I don't know why. He thinks he's going to get money for beeping 3 times in a joke. I'd rather, right now I'd rather hear the expletives. Okay, I mean, I don't care anymore. I'm in a podcast. You hear how they talk, how Rogan talks, and F this and F that? I mean, I'm not going that far, but my gosh. If they can do it, why can't I? I can speak dirty. I'm old enough now. Anyways, we have Dems running for Congress, and man, I said they're in trouble and all that stuff, but nobody is believing in defending women. Girls from transgenders and things like that. We in Missouri, wrongly passed Proposition 3 or Amendment 3, which protects transgenders to the extent that children who want to get checked out for this must be given permission by their parents, or the parents may just lose custody of them, and the person who does the examination doesn't have to be a doctor, just some kind of a caregiver. So if I gave my wife, her a aspirin, that would sort of make me a caregiver, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Let's try it. You never actually brought me it.
Well,
aspirin or painkiller.
I don't think I would be the one to do the transgender stuff.
It would help. Don't think you should have any medical equipment.
It would help if you listen to the show. I know you're busy doing stuff. You're busy keeping your phone in sight so you won't lose it.
I am trying to post things to your page.
Okay, I know you are.
There are some lovely birthday pictures if anybody would like to go out and see them.
Oh gosh!
And please like or love our show to celebrate Dave today.
Never do a show on your birthday. That's what I say.
Oh, we're taking the day off.
Am I grumpy?
We can eat cookie
It
cake.
seems like you've been taking the day off. I'm trying to do my job here.
We definitely couldn't take the day off after Tuesday.
So at the last minute, Joe Rogan endorsed Trump, and And so did Megyn Kelly. Isn't that something? All right. Megyn Kelly probably got a lot of women to go with him. I see a nice elderly gentleman. I can say elderly because I think I'm older than he is now. And Joe Rogan endorsing Trump. He doesn't hardly endorse anybody. That's a big deal. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a real treat because this man is 256 years old. He's got me beat by, let's see, I don't even want to say it, about 300 years old or something like that. And so he is an expert on the United States Constitution, especially the First and Second Amendments, because I think he helped write them, quite frankly. I think he was giving advice to Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Ben Franklin. So, but now he has all this information stacked in his head. He usually has on a tinfoil hat, a big one, but now he's got a tinfoil yarmulke on, as you can see, because he's going to release some of that information, some of that valuable information today on this show. Please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Morning, JJ. How are you?
Well, happy birthday to you, Dave. I think that's a wonderful thing that you've lived this long. Keep on going.
Well, you should know. 256
I should know.
My
you know,
goodness.
this was the big election week, okay? And
Yeah.
you and I excitedly anticipated this thing, hoping for a Trump win. So I'm going to give you a little Trump, recap, and then let's talk about the election briefly.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Trump has put up with a decade, more than a decade, of the following: Russian collusion, laptop disinformation, which probably lost him an election, 2 impeachments, attempted ballot removal, 5 civil and criminal suits, 2 assassination attempts, a SWAT team raid on his home, and the guy still won.
Yeah.
The guy still won. What does that tell you about the electorate in this country? At least 50% of us can see through all of that BS and see that the man was being persecuted for nothing but political reasons.
Okay.
They didn't want him in the election.
But
They
the
certainly
question-
didn't
here's the
want him
question,
to
though.
win.
Here's the question. Why didn't we know this back in 2016? I know the answer. I just want to make sure everyone else knows. Why didn't we see this back in 2016? They were doing the same and worse to him back then.
We thought there would be fair elections in this country, as there have been for decades. And proved in 2020 that there was no such thing as a fair election. Now,
Yeah, but 2016, when he was elected, there were still a lot of investigations going on right after he came down the steps of to announce in 2015.
As soon as he came down the escalator, they were after him.
Yeah.
They didn't like him. They thought he had a chance of winning, even though everything
Here's a guy that used to go on The View, used to go on Oprah. Oprah and him were good friends.
Yeah,
I mean, Oprah wanted to be his. I did a bit earlier with him on Oprah in the 80s, about 40 years ago, and Oprah apparently wanted him to run for president, and she wanted to run for vice president. So what happened? All of a sudden, he's running for president, and the liberals turn against him. He was one of them.
They figured out that the guy actually was a patriot. If you look at his term as president, good things happened. We actually had law and order. We actually had adherence to the Constitution. He actually enforced the laws that are on the books, which the last 4 years has been nothing but a debacle of lawlessness. I'm so glad the guy got elected. Now, you and I were opining a few weeks ago about the popular vote, the Electoral College, and both of us were pretty sure he could take the Electoral College. And actually, neither one of us thought he'd make the popular vote. Just too hard to do with the Western states. Well, lo and behold, the man won the popular vote. And some of that's still not decided, but it's been declared. Looks like we took the Senate. Looks like we're going to maintain the House. First time in a long time, we've got a Republican majority in power. Now, My suggestion to them is, okay, you guys got in. It's time for you to govern. It's time for you to govern like you were in power. I've lived a long time, and I've watched Republican majorities in the House of Representatives give it away.
Yeah.
They compromised with the radical left. They chose to ignore what the left was doing. Boys, don't do that this time. There's a whole bunch of us watching you.
Yeah,
And, if you
and that goes for girls too.
Your next go around, you will be primaried because we got no patience for clowns like you. So you rhinos, time to get in lockstep.
Get out, rhinos! Get out now, and we should really go up against those people. Those are the worst.
We'll be after them, Dave.
They kill all of our advantages, especially in the House. You know, we can't have this go along to get along thing. This is crap.
Well, the libs have proven that they can walk all over us when we do that. We're not going to do that this time. You Marxists might as well just put your boots on and leave. Miss Harris spent over $1 billion. That's 9 zeros, Dave. $1 billion.
It was $1.6 billion
on this campaign.
Then she came up $20 million short.
What I was about to say, how can you do this? I think somebody ought to maybe take a look into the Democrat coffers and find out where that money went. Donald J. Trump had immense gains in the blue states. New York always had a Democrat advantage. It dropped from 23 to 12 points. New Jersey, 16 to 4 points. Connecticut, 20 to 8 points. Maryland and Rhode Island, similar losses. It appears that people were leaving the Democrat Party to vote for Trump or some independent. Why? Because the Democrats have gone so far left that any reasonable person will look at their policies and say, nah, this sounds like Venezuela. This sounds like Russia under Putin. We're not going to have that.
Yeah, and thank God America stood up.
I'm really pleased about it.
Thank you for saying what you say on my show, because it makes sense, and people listen, and the people that listened probably voted for Trump.
I'd say that's likely. Somebody as far left radical as Bernie Sanders, who I have considerable disdain for, excoriated the Democrat Party. I mean, read them the riot act for abandoning the working class.
That's
the
right.
Dems for 4 decades have been the working class banner carriers, and their far left policies left people, even rank and file union people, saying, wait a minute, these were the people that used to support us, hands down, no question, and now they've abandoned us. So it's not that they abandoned the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party abandoned them. And for somebody as far left as Bernie Sanders to raise hell about that, I'm so pleased about that. I'm grinning from ear to ear. I know it's a stupid grin, but it's the one that I've got.
Well, he's hard. He is hardcore. First of all, he's a Jewish anti-Semite.
Yeah,
Israel. What
do you do that?
He's a sickening kind of a guy. But he's not stupid in the sense that he doesn't understand certain things. But I really detest him because he's a traitor as a Jew. And he couldn't care less if Israel disappeared or not. He got his.
He's a traitor as an American as well. Now let's go back to Trump for a minute, because his win was just so stellar. 2020, Trump got 36% of the Latino vote, which was amazing back then. He got 45% this time.
Oh, about that. By the way, they like being called Hispanics.
Latinos, Hispanic.
He learned that. He learned that in his rally in New Mexico.
James Carville, another pretty far left guy, but a pretty smart guy and very outspoken, said about Kamala that she had a golden opportunity on The View to separate herself from Biden. She could have made a hard turn right there and may have flipped the election right there. And when asked what she would do different than Biden, she said, not much. Well, honey, You spent the rest of your campaign trying to separate yourself from this guy. And on The View, which is not watched by many conservatives, in fact, I'm thinking that only insane people would watch that for other than entertainment value. She blew it right there, and Carville nailed her on it. Her campaign was disorder and chaos within the ranks. And when you've got a country that 65% of the likely voters say we're on the wrong track, and then you say, well, yeah, Biden was on the right track and I'm right there with him, honey, you just blew it. You blew it. Why?
Well, and they so lied about his condition.
Of course.
I mean, but did you see Biden's congratulation speech to Trump?
I did.
Because that is a real study in psychology right there. Why do you think that is?
It's a study in stupidity. The poor man,
but why was he so happy?
Never put this guy. Well, he's happy because Kamala, who stabbed him in the back, along with Pelosi and Schumer, went down in flames. Of course,
yeah.
He's known to be a vindictive man. You went ahead and did an et tu brute on him and stabbed him, and he's got to find a way to get back with.
14 million votes. She had 0.
Yeah,
0. Yeah. And he did better in 2020, much better in 2020 in almost all categories than she did.
So is this shallow little man going to get even with you after you put the knife in his back? Well, hell yes, he is.
He's going to get even with them. Now he is being nice to Trump, inviting him to the White House. I hope it's not a trap, but you know what? I don't think he's that sharp. All right. I think he wants to go out like he's going out because he seems like almost like a weird historic person who's coming out of his presidency with clean hands. In other words, he didn't have to do anything, and they screwed it up. He can point at them and said, "It wasn't my fault. You guys kicked me out."
He is trying to leave office with a little bit of decorum, and at the same time put a knife in Kamala's back. I'm happy about that. Good job, Joe. I still think you're a moron, but good job.
Don't forget Pelosi. Don't forget Schumer. They all stuck a knife in his back.
Oh yeah.
He was Caesar. He got the knives from a bunch of them.
AOC, who is not the brightest person in the Congress.
No, really?
AOC said that she lost, that is Kamala lost, on account of sexist attitudes among the voters and misogyny. Well, I'm a white working American, and I'm not a sexist, and I'm not a misogynist, and I don't know where she came up with that little pipe dream. But coming from AOC, I guess that could be expected, huh? Now, the big story is the DOJ has decided to not pursue federal charges against Trump anymore. Jack Smith's
looks that way. Yeah.
Which leaves Letitia James. Now, Letitia James in New York has managed to get a $450 million settlement against Donald Trump. She's still a Marxist. There is still a November 26th date coming up with Judge Juan Merchan.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if he is going to finally say what he should have said initially, don't pursue this anymore. Because now you're pursuing what's soon to be a sitting president. We'll see. The guy's kind of a leftist. Letitia James, I don't know if you saw her little press conference.
I saw that. Oh, she was threatening Trump.
Yeah.
If you try anything.
She would like to pursue this until the last dog is hung.
There's another guy, Judge Arago or Endigo. Remember that trial where it's he allegedly raped this woman in some kind of a dressing room. Okay. That's still out there too. But I'm going to tell you something. This guy, if anything, did get him elected, it was this. Every time they did this to him, his numbers went up.
Isn't that funny?
That thing, and he's got the Willis thing.
Yeah,
going on in Georgia still. So he's got about 4 or 5 of these things, and every time, but that got him elected. I think.
Yes.
I think
And
that
my
really
question-
helped. It
My
showed.
question for your viewers is
Yes.
this. These are state prosecutions. In this case, both of them, they're persecutions. And
Yeah.
the states are independent from the federal government. The federal government has backed off and said that DOJ's got a policy. We do not pursue sitting presidents. We may choose to put this off till afterwards. I seriously doubt it. But what about both of those states? Are they going to be in lockstep with the federal government? No, I think they're radical enough that they're going to attempt to pursue this. And if you think this was an unpopular prosecution before the election, you can count on this being a damn sight worse after the election.
Yeah.
Now, these two prosecutors are going to find themselves so unpopular, they may have to back off. But at some point, I got to believe that justice will be served and some judge will step in and say, wait a minute.
Well, I think we have enough time now.
The
president does to, and that's what big time lawyers are advising. You got to drop it.
Yeah.
But these are radical idiots who don't get it, who don't get when they're losing, and want to go after these guys for the rest of their lives. They ran, after all, James ran on, we don't have a crime against Trump, but I'm going to find one. That's not a legitimate lawsuit right from the get-go.
Now, I do believe, Dave, even if there is convictions associated with this, these are going to be thrown out in appeals, no question.
The Supreme Court right now will not let that happen.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
so when you see that handwriting on the wall and the Grim Reaper comes from you, aren't you going to give in? Any reasonable prosecutor would do that. I think at some point there'll be a judge that says,
look at what's happening in the war with Israel. These guys are getting they're getting killed left and right. I'm talking about Hamas.
Yeah.
And supposedly the big strong Hezbollah in Lebanon, they're all, the rabbi tells me, when they see an IDF soldier, they're running for their lives.
They run away.
They're running
The
away.
point is,
Exactly.
if it comes to a ceasefire, I think they're
going
going.
That's one of these guys before they sign an agreement and give us back our hostages.
Well, don't you think they'll get a better deal with Biden than they would with Trump?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Biden is going to do that. Well, and Bibi is right in there. He's already talked to Trump. All right, Biden and Bibi do not get along. I don't think he's going to intercede to the extent that he's going to try to make Bibi do anything.
Oh, I think he's going to make noise, Dave. I think he's going to make a lot of political noise, but I think he realizes that he has no stroke with Bibi Netanyahu. If you recall, Biden is the same clown that keeps harping on two-state solutions.
That's why there's no chance. You have an agreement. You got to have Bibi sign on to it, and he's not going to sign on to that.
No, not going to happen.
So he can stall out till January 20th, 25, and then Trump will be back, and they're going to have. I believe they're going to go right along with these Abraham Accords, and they're going to possibly achieve something that never has happened in the Middle East, at least not for 4,000 or 5,000 years, and that's going to be, people are going to be feeling good about the relationship between the Jews in Israel and places like Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi and all the other places, Yemen even, and Iraq. I think they're all going to sign up because Israel has a lot to offer them, and peace is what they can offer Israel.
Well, if you recall, thousands of years ago, there was trade and relative peace between those factions.
Sure, a lot of them. Sure.
Yeah, and the way that was done is
even in the what was the name of the thing in with Turkey taking over the Accords there, I forget what they call it. Anyways, when you got to put your feet up on the Ottoman, yeah. You know, even in those times, the Ottoman Empire, everybody got to put their feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was relative peace, even though there was tension all among them.
Yeah, you like that one. I'll tell you.
If you paid a small fee, you got along with the Arabs, and people did that for 1,000 years.
Right.
It was just not an issue. They
you know,
didn't hate each other the way they hate each other now.
Jews and the Muslims got along.
Yeah.
At times, Jews and Christians did not get along.
That's right.
We get along much better with each other because we found out there's a combined religion between us. We stem from one another, and that we have similar enemies, and the differences between the Jews and the Christians are very small. And really, if you want to go to the average, not the average Muslim, but to a lot of Muslims who believe the same thing, that the Jews and Muslims should be able to get along. There were a lot of Muslims in Michigan that voted for Trump.
You know, Dave, as far as Gentile versus Jew, we are so much more alike than we are different. It would make so much sense to get along, and we do.
Do I get? Who am I? I'm one of very few Jews around this area. All right, and I get along greatly with most Christians.
It's just not an issue, Dave.
I don't hardly have any enemies at all in terms of Christians, except, well, on occasion, my wife.
If you look, though, Dave, the left would divide us. They are the ones that are providing.
Don't kick me. Ow!
The left is the party of division. They would prefer that Muslims hate Jews. They would prefer that Jews hate Gentiles. They keep the chaos going. That's the way they stay in power.
This is why we're in all these wars. Why are we in war with Russia?
Well,
why is that happening? Why somebody could have put a stop to that, and we know who that was.
Trump would. We had such a weak executive branch that, of course, the Palestinians invaded Israel, Russia invaded Ukraine. All of those happened because of a power vacuum in our executive branch. We all knew that, Dave. You and I have been talking about that for 4 years.
Sure.
When the Marxists take over, they're so disorganized. They're not willing to put a strong figurehead in front of it because he would end up executing his staff. So they end up with chaos and decisions made by committee. It's done very badly. I'm glad Donald J. Trump's going to get in. He's a strong president. I think he will tell these people enough BS. It's time for you to stop this stuff and let's get on with business the way it ought.
I think that's what he's going to do.
Oh, I think so.
For him, he gets this. He said it 40 years ago. It's about people not being able to rip us off. Okay. Yeah. Why should we let them make factories and then sell us these cars that are more expensive than we have to pay here? Why don't we just put tariffs on all these things?
Yeah,
and it works.
I'm not a big tariff fan, but it has its place. And
if you want people to work in your country to make cars that Americans are going to work and be able to work at, then you gotta do something with the people out there that are undercutting you.
That's right.
Tariffs on.
Of course. The big mistake that Trump made in his first presidency was he retained some people from the previous president who said, yeah, I'm going to take care of business. And of course, they stabbed him in the back. Well, he knows the story now. And at this point, you're going to see people put into positions of power.
He admitted this on the Rogan interview that the one thing he did was he made mistakes when he hired some people. Yep. He said, look, there was 10,000 people there. I've never been in government before. And I was getting told that this person was great. This person was great. And some of them weren't great.
Yep.
And so I had to fire him. At least I fired him. Look at Biden. He still got leftovers from Obama. And they killed Trump's presidency by 50, 60, 70 orders to tear down everything that Trump did.
Executive orders.
Yeah.
Just one last parting shot, Dave, because we're overtime at this point.
I know that.
Trump's transition team has been put together privately and quietly. Now, if you look the way things are done in Washington, D.C., you've got a government accountability office and a transparency folks. And normally they got their finger in things. Well, what would happen is moles from the Biden administration would get in there and wreck their plans. So Trump did the thing that is a smart businessman would do. He's doing all this planning in private. He'll present it to them when the time is right. They've got no chance to torpedo it in advance. Good job, Don. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with you.
As I have, and I want to thank you for, first of all, switching with the rabbi. He was starting his Sabbath as we were talking. They were lighting the candles. I was wondering what the hell was going on over there.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you doing that, for being flexible. And it's always a hoot talking to you. I always see my numbers go way up. It's doubled since you've been on, so I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
And hi to your wife, and you have a great weekend, my friend.
I guess I am your almost opening act at this point.
Well,
Dave,
you are my opening act
next Friday.
Yes, you are my opening act, and I consider you as such, and always will. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank our friend John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Thank you, JJ. Okay, we're back. Well, I don't know. Why don't we do commercials? We don't have another guest until what? 10 minutes. So, let's do our next set of commercials. Why don't we do that? And then we don't have to do it anymore.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay.
Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
So when you get older, I hate to tell you this, I'm 76. How's that? Okay, I think that's cool. I need some. I don't need crickets. I need applause. Because so my wife is checking with me to see whether or not I took some medicine. And I wasn't sure myself. And so she says, well, check your urine because you have yellow color.
It's not true, but that
yellow color out of
vitamins. That happens with vitamins.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I said, well, that depends. Nobody got that?
I think you need
give me
to,
crickets. I don't care.
No, he needs to be whipped. He needs to be whipped 75 times a day is what he needs. Because I gave him one swat this morning.
That's later. Oh, come on. Ow. Is somebody on the phone? No? Who was that?
It was Karen Lewis trying to call.
Okay. Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Well, do you want to call some of these people back?
Well, not right now. I've got Dalton coming in 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. So, come on. I got a tight schedule.
For those that called, we will try to call you back. We just have a guest that's supposed to be coming in here.
Yeah, it's a tight
anytime.
schedule. And with all this birthday nutty stuff, which is nice. But who's that now?
Karen Lewis again.
Oh, jeez. All right, put her on. I mean, okay.
Joe will be fine.
Hi, Karen. Dave Weinbaum here. How are you?
I'm fine. I won't keep you just a second.
Good.
I know you have an incoming
yes,
person. And
exactly.
I just want to make sure that the public knows on your website and your program this morning about Donald Trump's resignation this morning, if you would.
I already talked about it and I gave you credit.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tuned in later. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I
Thank
didn't.
you
I didn't
so
read
much.
it. I didn't read it per word, but I did encapsulate it
There you go.
and got the major things in there. And I thank you for doing that. I appreciate that, and I
I
appreciate
support
you,
you
Karen.
1,000,000%. Thank
All
you,
right,
guys. I
thank
love
you.
y'all.
All right, appreciate it.
All right,
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye. All right, and look who walks in right at the moment. Oh, and he's got
no.
birthday card for me.
Oh no.
He even dressed up in a colorful shirt.
The spoiling
Oh,
continues.
wow, thank you.
I mean, the
you.
spoilage.
The spoilage? I think it's a Big Mac. Okay, should I open it?
Sure.
Oh, all right. So I'm getting a gift here, and we're putting.
This is your third one today so far.
I know.
The day is young.
I know. I got a.
Hey, did you notice that honey I gave you is Republican honey?
What's that?
Did you notice the honey I gave you this morning is Republican honey?
No, I didn't know that.
They said it's so much sweeter.
Oh. Oh, wait! You got to give her a little laughter there. She's the butt of many jokes. And okay, let's see.
It's right on the label.
What is this?
That's why I bought it for you.
Okay.
Wow, that's good radio.
Well, they can see me too. What the hell? All right. Let's see. How do you open this damn thing? Okay.
It's his first day opening a present.
Adam, give me. He's like
just a bit.
Now I'm getting. Hold it.
It looks like a cake box. Maybe it's a cake.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
There we go.
All right, it's nothing.
You got tissue paper?
Oh, tissue paper. A hat. Oh, look at this. Oh yeah, is that good or what? Cool. Trump fans, I'm loving it. There you go.
Yay.
There you go. Oh, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, sir.
Well,
thank you. I'm sorry I
had
had
your
so
name
much,
written all over it.
so much trouble getting this out. Okay, who's that? Get him on. What the hell? I'll go a little longer with you if I have to. Not if I don't have to. All right, hold on. Let me wear this.
Oh, it goes with your new shirt.
This is the kind
Look,
that
it's got the McDonald's M in Trump.
I think Musk had this shirt. Thank you, sir. That's really
got
cool.
The McDonald's M in Trump. This is
Okay.
special made for you.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank
it goes
you.
with your new McDonald's shirt.
There you go.
Wow, that's cool.
Look at that.
This is a Elon Musk look too. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name and where are you calling from, Adolf?
Yeah, it's Adolf.
Okay. All right. How you feeling today? You feeling okay? I got a guy I'm interviewing here, Joe Dalton. You know Joe,
Yeah,
right?
We're doing good. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
How's Joanne doing?
I'm good. Have a wonderful birthday, Dave.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you
Hi,
so much
Joanne.
for calling.
Hi,
Thank you.
sweetheart. Yeah, we're much happier now that election's over.
Oh yeah.
We feel better.
Big,
Much better.
big
Yeah.
relief. Big relief.
Yeah.
I was scared even on Tuesday night. I was scared. I mean, I fell asleep. I woke up. It looked a little better, and then I figured out. Wait a minute, he's got this thing won.
Yeah, and then I saw 277 to 226, so that made my heart sore.
And it's even he's even got more though. I think he's got about 312, and he might get some more.
Well, with Alaska now, he's up to 295. They're just waiting for Nevada and Arizona to get to play for him too. So
somebody gave him credit for 312.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
all right, I've got a guy here. I've got to interview him, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Glad Adolf is doing well. All right.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Talk to you later.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I hate to be abrupt, but it's a schedule. You have to have a schedule on a show, and you have to have some discipline. Did you hear that, sir? Yeah. Discipline. Okay. Hi.
So it turns out,
yes.
I don't know if you talked about this on the show earlier, but you are younger than Trump and drastically younger than Biden. So you might be old, but you're not old. You know.
Well, it's a funny thing. I always
gets old.
I always wondered if. Thanks a lot for that. And you're making me older. I always wondered.
I'm saying?
I had one interaction with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
In 2014, honey, was it at the
CPAC?
Was it 2014 or
CPAC.
2013?
I believe we went in 13.
Okay, in 13. He was up on
Could have been
stage
14.
in a side. Can you imagine? Donald Trump. He was in a side room of about 150. He wasn't even in the main room. Donald Trump.
Wow.
In 2013, and he starts talking about how he was backing Romney and how he gave money to Romney and he couldn't understand how he lost to Obama. He just was up there just perplexed. Finally, I yelled out, he lost because he laid down in the last 2 debates.
Yep.
And he looked at me. He says, you know what? I think you're right. Didn't he? He said something like that. Honey, you were there. He reacted. I know he did.
He acknowledged you, yes.
Oh, God. Thanks for all your help, honey.
No, I mean,
if I ever have to go on the stand, I'm not asking you to be a witness. At least not for my character. That's for damn sure. Golly.
So my point was,
what a big help you are.
We all witnessed Trump going 100 miles an hour, our president like Trump, for months on end. 4 or 5 events a day.
Oh my gosh!
And you're younger than he is, so you got plenty of time left.
Well, younger than he is a matter of what I mean. I really look up to the guy because he's a business guy. Mm-hmm. He's good at it, probably much better than I was ever. He plays golf. And he's good at it.
Yeah.
Much better than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
All right. But I actually watched his game against DeChambeau with DeChambeau when they broke 22 under from the senior tees.
Wow.
And that was for charity. And I actually learned a little bit from Trump about stuff. And DeChambeau. I'm watching these pro golfers. And it's interesting to see what they do and how they play. And I try to imitate that. And I'm getting it to work sometimes.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm never going to be great or anything, but I can be competitive. 11 handicap from the senior tees. I was never this good before. So anyways, we have some talking to do about Amendment 3. We're going to talk about that a little bit because that is horrible. How did they get passed so easily?
There was $28 million dumped into our state from out of state interest to run ads, to do all these direct mailings.
Yeah.
And all the ads lied blatantly. And unfortunately, a lot of people that shouldn't have voted yes did because of that. I believe that's a big part of it. And, another thing is that.
So they believe the BS.
Yeah. They believe the BS. And also, I don't know if you remember me talking about last year, in 2023, our state politicians failed to pass IP reform, which would have kept, which would have required a 60% instead of 50% passing.
Interesting.
So
because we've got our rep coming in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's talked about this before.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as all that. What they were trying to do is much more complicated. But
where do we go from here?
Right. So the Pregnancy Resource Center had a contingency plan in place. I just wanted everybody to know that we are prepared, and we're not happy, but we're prepared. So a couple of things. Our board got together. I should mention that you only have to be off the board for a year to go back on again. I should mention that.
Really? Is that new?
Somebody else in here?
Okay.
When you get to be 76, you think people are behind your back somewhere with a gun to your head.
So here's what the plan is so far. And these items aren't going to happen all at once. It's just as needed. But we're planning on extending our hours at the Pregnancy Center. Right now, we're swamped with the hours that we're open.
Yeah.
So we're going to add up to 24 hours a week, which will increase overhead. We're going to need to hire additional staff to make that happen, and then we're going to have to train that staff.
Okay.
Now, some of our staff.
Why are you opening? So why are you extending your hours?
Because we expect to be much busier.
Why?
Because Planned Parenthood is an incredible marketing machine.
Yeah.
And they know Rolla, and they know that we're a crossroads. That's why they put a new facility here. But immediately what we expect to happen is all the Planned Parenthoods to offer abortions right in all the locations they currently have. So on December 5th, when this goes into effect, abortions will happen up the street. I'll be on the way to my favorite restaurant and have to pass that and know that babies are probably dying in there.
Yeah.
That's the reality that we're waking up to on December 5th.
Exactly.
So we're reacting to that, knowing that they're going to be advertising.
Are you going to have signs up there on the billboards right by where Planned Parenthood is?
Oh, I've tried so many times. The same person that owns the building owns those billboards. So I've tried twice. I've talked to the man, and he refused to sell us a billboard. And he can do that. He owns the billboard.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's so at any rate, additional training for our current staff. We're living in a world, on December 5th, we'll be living in a different world pro-life wise. Our staff is trained for a reality of a 72-hour waiting period, a reality of an ultrasound law, all these things that are no longer going to be in effect, parental consent,
right?
Training a staff to deal with a 13-year-old and how to tell their parents and to encourage them to tell their parents. So there's additional training we'll have to do for our current staff. We're also looking at the possibility of hiring a sonographer. That's the person that does the ultrasounds. We have people trained to do it that aren't sonographers, but we're only allowed to do it up to 12 weeks gestation.
Yeah.
We're also going to wake up in a world where abortion will be legal at all 9 months of pregnancy. So even partial birth abortion.
Are we talking about here or everywhere?
Missouri.
Anywhere.
I want you to play the.
That's what we voted
I want
for.
you to play the baby thing, and people. I want you to understand what we're doing here. What is happening? I don't know. Did you send me? I think you sent me this from Brazil. The Brazilian father and the baby. Well, watch this. All right. Somebody sent this to me.
Where he's doing.
Here, listen. Yeah.
Nenê do pai. Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente. Ela tá feliz, meu Deus do céu. Bebê. Mas, gente do céu. Nenê do pai. Mas, meu Deus do céu, gente.
That's excellent radio. Once
That's
again,
3D ultrasound, amazing.
Which we have a 3D ultrasound now,
and you have that too. Oh my God!
So
how can you ever kill a baby if you see that? I mean, you can't.
Right.
Look, it's murder.
That's one of the tools. That's the main reason that tools.
And here it is. It's a woman's issue. Why? I understand in certain instances you might have difficulties, but you're not just killing men, you're killing women when you kill babies of both sexes. It's not a piece of flesh and a bone. It is a human being just like you are.
Yeah, I mean, so we have never, ever met somebody that wanted to kill their baby. They just feel like they have no other choice.
Right.
And that's
okay.
That's what we're dealing with. And it's our job to figure out what we can do
to help.
So they don't have to do what they don't want to do in the first place.
Okay, so it's not just about the abortion.
Oh, no.
It's not just about having the baby. It's about helping them fulfill their lives with their baby and how to do that. And what do you do for that?
Right. So we only use certified life coaches to work with our clients, and we will, they will basically dig deep. What a life coach does is they dig deep. They ask very powerful questions that forces the woman to dig deep within herself so that it bubbles out what she really wants to do. So, they'll find out, well, it's more time than what I have to describe it to you, but basically what happens is, they make their own decision, which is very powerful. What a counselor does, which is not us, but they try to drag the woman to make a decision that the counselor wants her to make.
Right.
What we do is just walk alongside her while she makes her own decision. So the fact that she chose life is powerful because when she leaves, we know nobody's going to sway her the other direction. But what the coach comes to me with after the first session is the list, they debrief with each other, the coaches do, but the list is the list of items that woman feels she needs to get, hurdles she needs to jump before she chooses life.
Yeah.
And within that list, we find things that we can help with. Like, for example, they're homeless. For example, they don't have a car. They need to get to work. These different things that we help them with. We gave out 2 cars last week. We donated to clients because they needed it. Reliable transportation is one of the keys.
And tell them about the house again.
Yeah, our maternity home is called Bridges, and it's
so who gets to live there?
Women that are pregnant women or newly parenting women. So you don't have.
So you have babies living there too.
Oh yeah. So we have 4 mothers living there with their children now, and so we're full. And you bought their Christmas presents. Thank you for that. The gift, that gift is tremendous. Thank you. But so our program is based on the 7 core competencies of self-sufficiency. So our goal is when they leave us, they're on their own 2 feet. They're not on food stamps. They're not on HUD housing. They're on their own and debt-free. And that's everybody that has left our program, completed our program, has done so.
Yeah.
4 of our alumni are homeowners now. So they went from being homeless to being homeowners.
Yeah.
Which is extremely
And
powerful.
one of them is your daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
who is part of your organization,
right.
but very independent and very she's pregnant again. Mm-hmm. She's married to your son.
Yep.
And she's on her 3rd baby. Is that correct? Or?
That is correct. Yeah.
Cool.
So, lots of twists and turns in her story. She was a star client. She went to the White House. She went through our program. She launched completely self-sufficient, $6,000 in savings. And then she asked if we would mind if she got to know her son better after she left. So it was very cute. It's like apparently she'd been admiring him from afar.
Yeah.
But didn't act on it because she's living in the house, right? So
was she concerned about you being the father? I mean,
oh well, I am a little goofy, so.
This man was what were you? A fisherman? Not a fisherman.
Fishmonger.
Fishmonger.
Yeah.
So would you be at the fish place and you'd be throwing the fish around like you in San Francisco and places like that? Hey, cool? What do you want, buddy? You want this tuna? Here.
That's Seattle's the flying fish market.
Seattle.
That's the most awesome.
I saw that in San Francisco, though.
Did you really?
Too. Yeah. Long time ago.
But it's I sold to grocery store chains all over the country. But I was a fresh seafood expert for a minute there.
Right. Do you eat fish now?
I do. I didn't back then.
No kidding.
No kidding. I had a freezer.
So it's good for you.
Yeah.
How do you know fish? Do you wild fish, for example? Mm-hmm. How do you know what they eat?
They know. I mean, so
I know the fish knows, but what do we know about what they eat?
For example, there's 5 species of Pacific salmon.
Yeah.
The sockeye salmon, which is the bloodiest red, only eat shrimp.
Okay.
And then you go all the way down to the pink salmon, which is the lightest one, and it only eats vegetables. So it only eats seaweed and stuff like that. So it's it's whenever I am talking to an atheist, I'll bring up the story of salmon to prove to them that there is a God, because everybody knows when a salmon leaves the freshwater, they go into brackish water for a year and then they go out into the ocean. Yeah. What most people don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. What most people don't know is when they go into the ocean, because they have to come back to their own stream, the stream they were born in. That's the way they're hardwired. But when they leave, they do just one figure 8 in the ocean. And that's the nautical move they do to get back to their stream that they were born in.
They can figure it out on their own?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
all right. Well, you know what? I'm probably cutting away from your time talking about the issue you're here for, and that
fish
is,
has nothing to do with that.
well, sort of does maybe, but not in any sense that we can make of it. So, what else you got to tell us about abortion and how we educate women that this is an issue, but it's not so much a woman's issue; it's an issue about killing viable human beings.
Right. I think as this thing rolls out, Amendment 3, and it's going to be extraordinarily hard to fight this thing and to overturn it, but it's possible. But we'll talk about that later. We're going to wake up to the realities. It's what we're going to wake up to, and we all did that when we passed the last Amendment 3 and legalized marijuana for some uses, in some cases, for some people with a prescription. Right. Blah blah blah. And we woke up the next day with
everything,
with pot stores every other corner, or every other corner,
and hardly any controls, probably.
Right. So there's some realities that we're going to wake up to, that the public's going to wake up to. So hopefully, when those horrific things happen in front of them, we'll be able to get a petition together and to do another amendment to make this go away.
All right. Well, that's. I mean, we really have to do a better job of spending for this. Are there other states that passed this kind of amendment to their constitutions?
Arizona.
Wow.
Arizona did. Now the other ones that didn't, there was 5 that it failed at, and for Florida, for example, but they had IP reform. They required a 60% majority.
Okay.
So that was a big difference. But what I've always said is we appreciate pro-life legislation, but it really doesn't matter much.
Yeah. Okay.
When it comes down to the work that we do it one at a time, one baby at a time, one mother at a time, toe to toe, heart to heart. We save that baby and then we move on. And what you're doing is you're changing the hearts and the minds of American people one at a time.
Yeah.
Because that mother is going to experience childbirth. That mother is going to hold that baby.
Yeah.
And in the future, she won't consider abortion because she knows what that is. So you're changing the hearts and the minds of American people.
It's a main purpose of both men and women to keep humanity alive. And when you're negating it, it's not a natural thing to do because we'll be extinct. And liberals out there, especially, if you want to be extinct, keep doing what you're doing because you won't need abortions. You're just not going to have sex anymore because you hate Donald Trump. How does that make sense?
Yeah. So
I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But one of the evidence of the fact is that the politicians are not upset about these people streaming over the border because we've killed so many children that we're having a population growth problem. Everybody in the world is, all these countries. So if your population stops to grow, you've got a bad future.
Yes.
So China.
Are we close to that now?
No, well, not since we brought in 12 million illegals. No.
Oh well.
Certainly not. But
that could be going away pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, so it'll balance out hopefully, but that's a reality. People. I mean, China with their one-child law.
Bad decision
has caused a demographic winner for them because they're very. They're a very prideful people. They're mostly atheists. The father figure is the god of the family. Well, they've done selective abortions because of that, because they don't want a girl, they want a boy.
Yeah.
And now you've got a society where you have so many more men than you do women.
Wow.
And it's
so have they fixed that problem?
They claim that they let them have 2 children now, but there's also
even that's just replacement.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help you that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but countries all over are begging people to have children. They're giving people money to have children. So yeah.
All right, JP, what's the story with our next guest?
I'm trying to call him real fast.
Who's the next guest?
Bill Hardwick.
Oh.
Yeah. Why don't you call him? See what he's doing. You know,
Maybe he's in St. Louis.
Well, no, I mean, he agreed to come on this show, but that's if he's not here, you can stay for a while. What the hell?
So Bill, and Don,
did you do something to Hardwick?
No.
Okay, just curious.
He's been helping us with a case. So is Don Mayhew, and it was.
Was that with the friend that I have in McDonald's?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a young lady that's fighting to get her own child back.
Yes,
she had unjustly had her child taken away by what they call DFS in Pulaski County, whatever the hell it is. But
by the way, I like her. All right, she's gotten pissed off a few times, but she's now, you know, I think that was bothering her, is that situation.
Yeah, it's still going on.
She comes up to me though, and I'm in the drive-thru, and I didn't know whether she was still with us or not. She comes over and talks. She says, "I'm fine. I like it here." So I really like her a lot.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Yeah.
So we need to give people on the radio a picture. Imagine a 6'4" female standing next to Dave Weinbaum.
Yeah,
it's a
she's
beautiful
got me
thing.
by a foot she's got me by a whole foot and an inch.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so Bill Hardwick and Don Mayhew walked into this meeting that she was having with the DFS people and just shocked the hell out of them. You know, they were there. They were just there to, observe.
Good.
Yeah.
But Bill was actually lawyering that case, wasn't he?
He offered to if he needed to.
Yeah, okay.
He would take it over. So.
He's a good guy, and I think he wants to practice more law.
Yeah,
a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
So maybe we help him out a little bit too.
There you go.
So what else?
I'm thrilled that you were born. The shirt you have underneath that.
Excuse me?
I'm glad you were born.
Okay, now I have to take my shirt off.
No, you don't.
And my hat. Well, it's
we posted a picture of you in your shirt this morning.
You did?
Yeah,
Where?
blowing out your lock sandwich candle. So yes.
Right. Well,
it's on your page.
Oh, forget it. There he is. Oh my God, he's caught me.
Cancel the strip tease.
All right.
Cancel the strip tease.
Okay, thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate it. All right, well, we were kind of waiting on
switch.
you. So, why don't we switch? And thank you so much for coming. Thank you for my hat. Look at the great hat he gave me. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir. Hi to your family. Hi to Jane, all the kids, grandkids.
Future babies.
Have you met? You've met, right? I know you met. Yeah. Sure. All right. We got our next guest here. Wondering where you were. Thought maybe you had some meeting to go to or something other than.
Yeah, actually, I've got to go right now. I'm sorry.
Well, it's great.
Sorry.
Meeting you. Let's hear it.
It was good. Yeah, thanks.
Let's hear it. It's going to be the shortest interview ever.
Let's get the audience members.
Come
in
on,
here.
I need some applause. Come on. All right, he's out of
delayed.
here.
That's going to make people think that it's not actually audience members and it's an audio thing.
No, see, this is terrible. No, he's still here. He's still here.
Yeah,
oh
I don't have anywhere to
go. They used to do that in the Carlson show, and they'd say,
Steve Martin.
They'd say, "We know you got to go." Yeah.
Steve Martin goes, "I got to go."
Yeah.
You got to go, and Steve Martin goes, "I don't have to."
I
go.
have no.
And then he
I
sticks
don't
around.
have any place to go. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it was funny. All right, so let me introduce this gentleman here. He's a Iraq war platoon leader. He's a state representative, a lawyer, a philosopher, and a college professor. Please welcome all the way from Waynesville, Missouri, Bill Hardwick.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
First time here. No, he's been here for a while. So Barr tells state and feds to drop all the lawfare cases.
Yeah.
The jury has made its decision, unanimously ruled not guilty, and the real jury was the American people.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's right. I saw the piece by Jonathan Turley in The Hill that this is a rejection of lawfare. And I think a lot of people, their motivation to vote for Donald Trump was that the DOJ, that is the Georgia prosecutor, New York prosecutor, you can't use the legal process to attack your political opponents to keep them from running. And a lot of people were incensed by that. And I was going to vote, I think us here, we're going to vote for Donald Trump anyway. But that was not, if that was the only reason, just to say we have to put a stop to that, that's a good enough reason for me to vote for him.
You have threats coming from A.G. James in New York that we're ready for you, and you better not try anything, and blah, blah, blah. What the hell is that? Yeah. Who is she?
I think that...
Who is she? What's wrong with this person?
Yeah, that's great, but I think that they're in for a rude awakening. I think that...
I feel like giving them a rude awakening.
Yeah, the Attorney General of a state can take the federal government to court, but they're going to go to the courts, right, to the judicial process.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen this time, I hope what happens, I really think what's going to happen is, and you saw it on the Joe Rogan too, where Donald Trump talked about, hey, 8 years ago, I didn't really know DC.
Yeah,
I came up there and I thought everybody was just trying to serve their country. And this is the guy that did that. And now I know that those were people that were implanted into the deep state, that they did not have the interest of the American people at heart. And when he comes into town this time, I think he's going to clean house at the DOJ, at the 3-letter agencies, and completely restructure.
And he's got somebody for that, doesn't he? He's got Elon Musk.
Elon Musk will be good at restructuring the government. I hope RFK Jr. has a big role.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be doing health and stuff like that.
Yeah, make America healthy again.
Yeah. I think.
Or the tweet he already put out?
No.
Okay. So
who?
RFK Sr.'s already put out, or RFK Jr.'s already put out a tweet saying FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes aggressive suppression of different things like peptides, stem cells, raw milk.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ivermectin, a whole bunch of stuff. Like he listed out and he said, and these, and anything else that advances human health and can't be patented by big pharma. If you work for the FDA and are part of this corrupt system, I have 2 messages for you.
Keep your
records.
1,
preserve your records, and 2, pack your bags.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
That's great.
He'd be good as Secretary of Health. He'd be good in the administration. He might be good as Attorney General, suing big pharma, and protecting. That's the position that his dad had in the 1960s. So I'm excited about that. I think that RFK will play a role in, it was a conspiracy theory maybe 20 years ago. Now it's not. He'll play a role in what I think is happening is everybody's getting sick. The pharmaceutical company's not trying to get you healthy, and it is crooked. Yeah. So maybe somebody come in and go, hey, you're just the American people are all getting sick.
It's not just the pharmaceutical companies. You've got the hospitals and the doctors in on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. I'll never trust another doctor ever.
Well, so it seems like people bow to money and to power, and there's a self-interest thing about, people just want money. And I was thinking a lot too about how that's what Eisenhower said in his farewell speech about the military-industrial complex. Right. There are people that have a financial interest that may be different than the interest of the American people. And we shouldn't let those people dictate our policy.
Sure.
And since Eisenhower left, that speech was given, at the end of his term, 1960. And since he left, we have all these other industries that are dictating policy, like the pharmaceutical industry, like the healthcare complex. And their interest may not be the interest of the American people, but they dominate the process because they're able to buy politicians.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the election of Trump is a repudiation of the system where the super big money is buying off politicians, and it's at the expense of the interests of the people.
JP, find the Tucker thing about the hospitals. Yeah, and let's play that. Let me read this while we're talking.
And this is Chris Adamo. It's not showing his name.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, everybody's
Facebook user? What the hell is that?
Everybody is that.
Okay, respectfully, we need to understand that leftists would use any means of dominating, and Tuesday's vote doesn't change that. Be ready. I agree with that 100%. So is he the Facebook user? There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
so
all
on
the
my
same.
screen, I can see the name on here for some reason. It's not letting me see it, but that's Chris.
Okay.
Adamo,
it's weird.
So another thing. What do we got? Anything else?
Well, we have a few if we want to go through.
All right. Well,
we got several comments.
Yeah. Well, let's play the. We'll go through a couple of comments with our guest here, and let's put on the Tucker Carlson thing. All righty.
And the guy that's on this video with Tucker, who actually does most talking, is Patrick Bet-David, and he actually did a really good interview with Trump just a couple of weeks ago, and I think it actually may have helped his re-election and all that too. Go and share the screen.
All right. There you go.
With 2,000 beds, right? Okay. We want to know out of the 31 days this month times 2,000 beds, that's 60,000 times that these beds could have been rented. How many times were they rented? We were at 89%. Can we get it to 92%? We need people staying in our hotel to make money. The business model of a hotel isn't to have only 10% of the rooms being used. So what's the business model of hospitals?
It must be totally different, right?
Right. So we need those beds to be filled. And by the way, do you know what's the number one industry of the most money they did last year? Energy, oil. You know, that's only $500 billion. You know what's number one? Hospitals. Yeah. $1.5 trillion. Hospital models, I need sick people. Big pharma models, I need new diagnosis. A contractors model, military contractor, I need war. Mainstream media, what do I need? Controversy, conflict, chaos. When you actually look at the business model of what these guys are doing, they need chaos and problems to keep making money. Just say you want to.
Yeah. What do you? That's what you're talking about. Isn't
yeah,
it?
I hadn't seen that before, but I think that's right. What we want people is to be healthy and not need to go to the hospital. That should be our goal in healthcare.
It's not though.
It's not. And what we want is we want peace. We want the conflict in Ukraine to end.
And I just can't understand why so many doctors are buying into this. They take oaths against this. Is there not enough money to make as a regular doctor?
I had
an honest doctor.
Recently, I spoke to a group of doctors, and I was able to visit with each of them about their issues. And I feel like a lot of doctors themselves feel like they're cogs in machinery. Yeah. That even at some point they're idealistic and they go to medical school, but they get there and they realize that they're not really able to treat the sick, even though I think a lot of doctors really want to. But they're part of this bureaucracy, this economic system. They're part of like these regulations. They're mainly filling out databases, right? They're mainly billing against insurance. A lot of doctors are they're very, very exhausted, like, working. And so I think a lot of doctors, I mean, not all, every profession has different types of people, but a lot do have a good heart to heal the sick. But we've created this healthcare system that just keeps people sick, I think.
Interesting. Yeah.
So my wife, who's a 20-year RN, the main reason why she stepped away from being full-time and started doing the health coaching that she's doing now and only doing part-time nursing and going back into people's homes is because as a clinical manager, that's all she was doing was pushing paperwork to get people more medicine and stuff. And they're not actually treating the issue. And she said, that's not why I came into this to be a nurse. Okay. I came to be a nurse to care for people. I'm not even getting to do that. So it was exactly the opposite of why she got into the medical industry in the first place. So she ended up getting out of it in the way that she was in it because it was not serving what she was originally in it for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about RFK Jr. I think that he's going to be a positive force in the administration. And like I've said a lot of people, I'll trade Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. for Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney. You could have Mayday of the Week. You can have Taylor Swift. We'll take people who.
Now, wait a minute.
I don't. No, you can. They can take him. You can take him, right?
No.
Like we'll take Tulsi Gabbard. News. I don't agree with everything that Elon Musk says. I don't agree with everything RFK Jr. says.
Yeah.
But I think they have a lot to offer for our country.
Yeah. So what's your predictions for the administration? Who's getting what job?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
we know one.
Susan, the chief of staff, Susan Wiles.
Yeah, I never heard of her before. And I understand her father was Pat Summerall.
I don't know her. Yeah, I've never met her.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean,
but she's one of those that she's not out in the public, and she had a lot to do with the election. Nobody ever saw her. I never saw her before. Yeah. I never heard of her, and apparently she's one of these exceptions that is actually a smart woman influencing Donald Trump. I thought that didn't happen.
Yeah, he's referencing Mark Cuban. Yeah, that says there are no strong women around Donald Trump.
Exactly,
which is an insult to people like Sarah.
What an amazing, stupid.
Yeah,
you know what,
Sarah
folks,
Sanders.
There's a lesson to that. It's not that hard to become a billionaire. You can be stupid as hell and be a billionaire.
Yeah.
I mean that. You know what? We should have a TV show like that.
We could if you want to start a podcast or something.
Yeah. Maybe I get him on my show.
Yeah, invite him on.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I think it is insulting to Sarah Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany, people like that.
Yeah.
Who are very incredibly talented. Yeah.
Yeah, and who was McEnhaney? She was the
press secretary to the end there.
God,
I think she did the best job.
I think the one that's on now. What's her name?
St. Pierre.
Yeah, I think she's walking out. I think
she's not going to make it to the year.
I don't think she's going to make it because the press is on her took us, and she's walked out. early.
People, they have like these outbursts of anger when they're really stressed out and they're cracking. And that what it looks like to me is, they'll ask a question and she'll, her body language and reaction is just like, she's just really, really stressed out about this whole thing. It's not the joyful reaction that a lot of Democrats thought they were going to have after the election. I think there are a lot of people who are like,
they're shocked.
Yeah. This has occurred to me. This is a thought that I've had. We really do live in two different universes.
Yeah.
So, because there are a lot of Democrats who are like, how could anybody ever vote for Trump?
Exactly.
Unless they're racist or misogynist. That's got to be it, right? That's got to be what fuels it. And then there are a lot of Republicans who are like, how in the world could you vote for 4 more years of this? How could anybody in their right mind want to continue these policies?
I've talked to lawyers. I'm not going to name names, and they'll come up to me and say, "Are you for Trump, really?" I'm wearing a hat, And I said, "Well, yeah."
I get that.
And
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And so I says, he says, "Well, why?" I said, "Well, I think he's the best for the country. I think he did a great job, and blah blah." He says, "Yeah, but he's such a jerk. He's such a a-hole. He's such a blah blah and a womanizer." And I says, "Well, I don't. You know what? I guess maybe there's some truth to that, but he's also a pretty good family man, and he's a great businessman. He's a smart guy, and he had 4 years of a great." I mean, how many people have 4 years of a great administration where everybody felt good about it, except for people who just hate the guy?
The media.
Media.
So now somebody says that to me. Now my answer is, oh, okay. So you mean like telling everybody that's a Trump voter that they're a piece of garbage? Every black person that doesn't vote for the Democrats,
they're okay with that.
They're not black. Yeah. Telling women that vote for Trump, they're stupid women. So that's okay then, because that's not abusive language at all. Right.
Exactly. They don't get it. And now they're getting comeback on it. And they're saying, some of them are fighting back and saying it again.
I think that's even part of Trump supporters. People are tired of being called names.
Yeah.
And being called stuff. And I get that all the time too. Like people I'd go to college with, they see me and they're like, well, you're so smart. And you're nice, and we know you're not like that. Why would you support Trump?
There you go.
And to me, that's insulting to me to be like, well, the only reason I could is I have a bad motive. But
they act but they don't know anything what they're talking about. They can't give you reasons, because the next step is I say, well, why do you think like that? I gotta go.
Yeah, like I don't because
I gotta go
because I start to explain myself, and I go, well, I want to border.
You just started this argument, and
yeah,
I'm willing to stay.
You asked me, and I go, well,
you asked me, you pulled me out of what I was going to do. But I'd be interested in knowing what your reasons are.
You're like, well,
I got to go.
You're like, well, I like the U.S. dollar not being destroyed. I like having a border, a country. I do think, like, I'm excited about RFK. I think that the Washington, D.C. deep state establishment got way too powerful and completely ignored the American people. And I think that it's exactly what I guess a lot of people think. The elites in the country completely ignored all the regular working people in the whole country and did their own thing. Yeah. And their policies were destroying their lives. We were destroyed manufacturing. Yeah. There were opioid overdoses. People were having their sons die in their arms from opioid overdoses. Young men were dying overseas in wars. The ISIS was like, the world was on fire. And and everybody could see that the FBI and DC was as corrupt as possible. And they were all just getting rich and living high on the hog. And people were just sick of it. Yeah. And there's another thing too, I think. This is a point I want to make. When I went to law school, a lot of people's parents were lawyers. And I've been thinking about this too. My dad wasn't, though. My dad was a carpenter. He was a union construction worker, right? That's how we grew up. It was very blue collar upbringing, right? We hunted, we had shotguns, we wore camouflage. We always had mud on our boots. Work was like labor work. I was the only person who ever went to college and law school, right? I was first guy to go to college. Okay. Only lawyer in the family.
You're a JD Vance kind of guy, only that's a little more severe.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we have a similar kind of like, we have a similar like blue collar, working class, like rural America upbringing, And to me, it was kind of like but the people that I grew up with, even if they had been Democrats their whole life in rural Missouri, they loved Donald Trump, and they'd say, "Here's the only guy who's telling it like it is. Here's the only guy who's making sense."
Yeah.
And so here's the only guy who's actually going to who's not one of those phony, crooked politicians. And, my dad loved him. Right. And he was a Democrat for most of his life. He voted in the 80s for Democrats, right? He was a union. He voted for Walter Mondale.
Donald Trump was a Democrat in the 80s.
Donald Trump was a Democrat.
Okay.
And so but I think that part of it is the culture of the rural working class Americans who feel like they're the ones who are left behind and marginalized by the system. And that's kind of like my people, right?
Sure.
So then when I went to, I've lost a lot of friends over politics. A lot of people I went to law school with never talked to me again. I saw somebody who I grew up with, hadn't seen him forever. He called me names, cussed me out for liking Donald Trump. But I'm kind of like, and they're like, well, how, I thought you were one of us, one of the intelligentsia. This is kind of the approach. But I'm like, no, I'm like, one of me is the people here. Like this is where I grew up. And what the left did culturally and what the deep state did and what like this crooked fusion of big business and government did has destroyed people's lives in Phelps County and Pulaski County, Missouri. And they were tired of it. And then somebody was finally speaking up for them. Like it makes, sorry, I'm riffing here, but every time I go in here, every now and then you trigger me. It is a terrible, disastrous policy to let everybody around the world come in here, commit crimes, pour in drugs, kidnap people, human trafficking, the cartels, and nobody's, talking about it. Okay, you got to transition.
All right, listen, I got another guest coming on. You're welcome to stay.
No, I guess I'll go.
I got
to go.
You're full of it. You got nowhere to go.
I actually do got to go.
Is there any any recourse on Amendment 3 at all?
I don't know if I can handle this big guy by himself.
Quick question for
what? Go ahead.
I just want to know if there's any.
Oh, sorry. We'll never give up on Amendment 3.
Good.
On life.
Right.
I'm going to support putting a new measure to the ballot, do definitions, define person as an unborn child, but we're never going to give up on life, whether or not. So it's never going to be okay to kill another human being. So I'll always fight against that as long as I'm in office.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for Bill Hardwick. Comes in late, leaves early. That's all right. I don't care. Okay, we have our next guest here waiting patiently, except that he's missing one of his. Well, it's only half of interview here because his beautiful wife is not there. Okay, but we'll go on anyways. American heroes, I should say, who stood by their house while 350 BLM and Antifa trespassed, being led by Cori Bush, no longer in the House of Representatives, and they trespassed on their house and their property and threatened to rape his wife and then burn down their houses and kill them both. Please welcome all the way probably from St. Louis, Mark McCloskey. There, did that make you feel a little better? I'm sorry if I was a little late.
Yeah, I don't know. Bill Hardwick sees me and flees the room. So
I was a little. I thought he would. What did you do to scare him?
I don't know. I mean, we get along just fine usually.
All right. Well, you never know. Sometimes you get a weird reaction from people who are your friends.
Yeah.
So has Trump called you to be his AG yet, or maybe even a SCOTUS judge?
He's lost my phone number. I guess I've been waiting on that phone call. The problem is, I'll be 68 years old in a couple of weeks. Yeah. If I get appointed to a federal judgeship, I get 2 years, right, before I have to go on senior status. So, Supreme Court would be nice. No age limit on that.
You got to be like me because here.
I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I would never say in your case that you're fired, so I'll just say you're hired.
He's been calling me all morning with the same message.
Yeah.
This is my birthday today.
Is it really?
Yeah.
29 again?
76.
76. No,
76. I can't lie. And I'm taking cognitive tests every time I do a show. Okay. They're checking my cognitive abilities. All right. So Scott Presler, I mean, there was some cheating going on in this particular election, but I think most of it got stifled.
Oh, yeah.
Trump admitted he didn't understand the swamp and how deep it was. And there's no doubt in my mind the 2020 election was stolen, and he didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah,
I mean, he should have had what he had now, and he would have won back in 2020.
Well, he did win back in 20. Think about it this way, Dave. He got 74 million votes this time. He got 74 million votes the last time. Biden got what? Allegedly 81 million votes.
81 million, yeah.
Yeah. Where did that extra 13 million people go this time? Since Kamala only got 65 million votes, right? Do these people just poof, they disappeared, or maybe they never existed to begin with?
Well, I think you got that. That's further proof that particular. How did they explain? How does anyone explain that? He got 15 million or 16 million more votes than Barack Obama got.
Yeah.
And he was popular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
maybe
amazing.
they should have run a completely dead man. He would have gotten 100 million votes.
Yeah, exactly. Now Biden seems to be so happy. What is he he's so happy. He's giddy. He is giddy. Why do you think that is?
He's saying, you get what you deserve. I would have won because I'm brilliant and I'm sharp. And I finished first in my law school class. And by God, I'm a genius.
Well, he's got a point. They all told him he was fine. Even Kamala said, no, Joe's great. I was in on every decision, blah, blah. And then somebody, well, how do you explain your new position on fracking and things like that? And she pretty much said, I grew up in a middle-class house and I worked at McDonald's and, that kind of stuff. I said, that's how her answers were.
And when I was in my baby stroller, when my mom asked me what I wanted, I said freedom.
Okay, I do the jokes here, damn it. So tell us a little bit about Bannon. He just got out of the clink.
Yeah.
And who's going to be the FBI director? Do you know? Maybe you could be that too.
I don't know, but I don't know if you had a chance to watch like Morning Joe this morning. Had Bob Woodward on, and always like.
No, I want to hear about that, please.
They're all there. You gotta just admire the chutzpah of these people, right? They're talking about how when Trump comes in, he's going to do what he did the last time, which is all this retribution. He's going to persecute all of his adversaries and ruin everybody's lives. And I'm thinking, wait a second. I remember that happening, but I don't remember it being Trump.
Yeah, I mean, he could have put Hillary in jail. He for the Russian hoax and all this other crap. He left her alone.
Yeah,
he left Biden alone. He left everybody alone that was against him. The FBI, hell, they investigated him just about a day after he came down the steps to announce in 2015. It's been a 9-year ordeal.
All the people that set up through fraudulent claims, put Mike Flynn in jail, and all these people. These people. A good buddy of mine called me last night and said, "Do you really think we're going to have like a real government this time? For example, is Mark Milley going to be called up on charges for treason when he and Nancy Pelosi said that they were going to, give the Chinese a warning if President Trump wanted to attack? And then Mark Milley called his chiefs in and made them swear allegiance to him and not the president. That's treason. That's
I think he's got to make some arrest with a new DOJ guy. I don't know who that's going to be, but that kind of stuff, you can't let that pass because it's going to become part of the equation now, just like this lawfare needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. What Patty, who's much more insightful than I am on these things, says that the reason that they were doing all this stuff, the rhetoric was being heated up day by day as the election approached about him being a Nazi and Hitler and totalitarian. This will be the last election we ever have, and all this stuff was to soften him up so that when he gets elected, he says, "Oh, I'm not as bad as you say," and he'll go soft on everything. Well, he can't do that. When the Democrats have control, they give no quarter. We can't. Like when we had redistricting right after the last census, and we could have had a 7-1 districts in Missouri, 7 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Everybody in Jeff City I talked to said, "Oh, we have to respect their communities of interest." Well, hell, they never respect our communities of interest when they have power. You got to take advantage when you have the ability to do it, and you got to just be strong and say, "Look, we've got to set an example. we've got to show people that if you engage in this kind of nefarious behavior, there will in fact be consequences, because otherwise the people lose faith. When people in the government steal millions, when people waste trillions of dollars of our money on unnecessary wars, when nobody ever goes to jail for any of this malfeasance, and the only thing you go to jail for is political opinions, people lose faith in the government, and we need to reverse that.
And they really the people really showed that.
Yeah.
Now the Democrats, some of them are beginning to get it, that they had the wrong ideas, and they lost contact with the average American. That was even Bernie said that. We lost contact with the average American, and how do you not realize that even like things like men playing girls' sports isn't an atrocious situation when they're out there practically killing these women in college sports, Olympic sports, and they're pushing for this.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just, they're out of their mind. Who's voting for that?
Yeah,
okay. I mean, I guess some are, but man, that's a whole gender are women. Okay, I mean, how do you vote against not vote against the transgenders beating them up?
Yeah, well, this is a party of women's rights, right? And once again, in light of what Bill Hardwick said on his way out, my body, my choice, except when it comes to COVID, of course. Then we all have to do exactly what the government says.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Here's what I find the most interesting.
What's that?
Obviously, everybody, the power elite never actually sees real human beings, right? All they do is they go to cocktail parties with their own light.
Right.
And they all went to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, or MIT.
They're amongst themselves.
Yeah. And they never see the real world. But to have this open disdain for everybody other than the power elite isn't going to sell very well, they just found out. You can't call everybody but your best friends garbage and then hope to win an election. There's a lot of garbage out there. There are a lot of people that actually work for a living, that don't go to cocktail parties for a living, that don't get elected to office as middle-class nobodies and end up with $100 million. I mean, there are people out there that actually work and understand the basic truths, and you can't just ignore them. But here's the thing that I'm still holding my breath on. And that is, after all this rhetoric that's saying that the United States will fail, that democracy will end, we'll never have another election because Trump is Hitler, and Trump's going to come in and destroy all our rights.
That's my next question about that.
How do you go back on that? How do you say, okay, now we're going to work with him? But neither the president nor the vice president in their concession speeches said, we've got to work with him. They both said, we can survive this if we pull together.
Well, Biden was very liberal on that in terms of saying it's over and we have to respect our Constitution, and we're going to have going to make sure that we pass power peacefully and honorably. I think he's actually thinking this is a big victory for him.
Yeah,
in that they shoved Kamala in his position. And he can show, first of all, that he had 14 million votes. She had zero. And that she didn't run as anywhere near as an effective race, even though they cheated like crazy, than he did. And they broke it down by people, by who voted for Joe. More blacks, more women even, I think. Except for Jews, which went to Trump, thank God, finally. He showed a lot of success in the one election that he won versus what happened next.
Yeah. So, I guess the answer to that, though, in my mind, is that the media, and by the way, if you watch the left media now, they're gearing up for it again. They're actually openly saying that they're going to do everything they can to frustrate everything that Donald Trump did, because he really is the devil. He really is Hitler. But They maligned him in every way they possibly could from 2016 to 2020, and people didn't have anything to compare and contrast it to. Now they're in power for 4 years. Everything's gone to hell. The world's at war. We're buying oil from Venezuela. 13,600 murderers allowed in the country. 350,000 kids just disappeared. The economy's in shambles. The only people making money are the uber rich. and then they have the gall to say Bidenomics is working and Trump is only interested in helping the billionaires.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And by contrast, though, here's the main thing. We have a contrast because in 2016, who the hell knew what Donald Trump would do? We assumed he'd do a good job, you and me. And I assumed it because he was a business guy. He seemed like he was pretty good. And when he went up against people like Ted Cruz in a debate, he walked all over Ted Cruz, and I couldn't believe it. Here's a guy, Ted Cruz, who won 9 Supreme Court cases, and Trump is a business guy and maybe a bit of a buffoon, and he has just nailed Ted Cruz to where he was silent. He couldn't even answer Trump. So that's what got me saying, wait a minute, this guy's got more than people are talking about.
Yeah, and he single-handedly ended the Bush monarchy.
Oh, yeah. So what I'm saying is there's a contrast between his performance, even with them all dragging him down, and he's doing it almost with one hand half the time. Then he's got to raise the other hand. He's pushing through the wall and all this other stuff, and getting out of stupid arrangements that like NATO was saying, yeah, you guys got to come up with money. We're not going to protect you if we don't. I mean, he made this country billions of dollars, and that's a bad thing. Yeah. Okay, anyways, but the contrast between that and what we saw in this last election is amazing in the 2020 election compared to what they did.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, the concept, when I was on the Trump campaign in 2020, the guy who was on the bus with us was a guy named Tommy Hicks, who was the co-chair of the party then before Laura Trump took over. And he'd get off the bus and he'd say, wouldn't it be interesting to have an executive in the executive office? Somebody that actually knows how to run a business. Run the country like a business. Ever since we were kids, everybody said that if you ever ran your household the way you ran the government, you'd be bankrupt in a day, right? Sure. Because they don't care about whether or not it makes sense what they do. And here's for the first time a guy that says, okay, we'll run the country like it's a business. We'll only do things if it makes sense for Americans. We'll only do things if it makes money for Americans. And by the way, all these freeloaders that have been living off of our largesse since World War II, buck up or we'll let you go out on your own. I mean, and then here's the same guy is cooking French fries and getting in a garbage truck. I mean, who but Trump would do that?
He sadly he resigned from McDonald's today. I have his letter of I'm serious, resignation. He wrote it to the officers of McDonald's that as of January 20th, he has to resign from being on French fries and being in the drive-thru. And while he enjoyed and loves McDonald's, I just have something else I have to do. And that was about it. I'm serious, and it was signed. I'm not sure yet whether it was a phony or not, but it showed like his official signature and stuff like that. So I tend to believe stuff. I'm a little easy, I don't know. I can be, you fool old men and that, and people like to fool around with me. So I like to think that I don't have that. But let's talk about the first woman chief of staff, Susan Wiles. And I thought your wife Patricia was going to be that, but I guess not. Yeah. But she's a smart woman, and I thought, well, Trump doesn't have any smart women around him, does he?
No, he doesn't have any strong, smart women around him. That's right.
Yeah,
he puts his daughter-in-law in charge of the party.
Yeah,
he's got the Susie Wiles. By the way, she ran, I guess, Rick Scott's campaign for Senate last.
Oh, did she? Yeah.
And so she's had her hand in some things for a long time. She's been Trump's gatekeeper for a long time, and I think was the most important part of this reelection campaign. I think.
Yeah, I think she was a big part of the campaign, but nobody ever saw her, and apparently she does not want to be in the public's eye.
Yeah.
Which is okay. What the hell?
If you want to go down and see Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago, she's the person that says yay or nay.
Oh, okay. So are you going to call her?
Yeah, I've got her on my speed dial. Oddly enough, she doesn't call me back that frequently.
Yeah, okay.
You know who does though? I'll tell you, is Tucker Carlson. You can text Tucker Carlson. He'll write you back in 20 seconds. He just, for a guy that must get 4 million texts a day, he's the most conscientious fellow.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you still in contact with him? Because he might have something to do with this administration too.
Tucker will tell you that he doesn't get involved in politics. But I've been saying this for over 2 years. He's the most influential politician in the country. He has more ability to influence popular thought and influence and move the masses than anybody else, maybe even than Donald Trump. And he's been doing it very effectively and very quietly, while at the same time with good humor and self-depreciating humor and a good laugh, unlike Kamala Harris. We owe a great debt of gratitude to Fox firing him, so he had the opportunity to be honest.
Why did they fire him?
We had heard. I don't think I'm breaking any confidences at this.
Come on.
We were at CPAC 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we were talking to some of the big wigs at Fox, and we were told that Fox was going to end up having to pay a lot of money on that Dominion lawsuit, and that the compromise would be that they'd cut Tucker loose.
Yeah, really. So Dominion wanted him out.
Yeah.
Now, isn't Dominion? Don't they have an interest in Dominion via some of the other ownership of Dominion, like what is it, BlackRock?
Yeah.
Did
I guess? No, I know. Well, here's the thing. I got to tell you, I've been a big believer.
Huh?
I've been a big believer that there's only one power that be, and it runs both parties, and it runs mainstream media, and it runs Fox. Because I was flipping back and forth today between Morning Joe and Fox. Same, with the exception of Mike Lindell, the exact same advertisers on both channels. And so you think about this, right? I'll digress for just a second.
Go ahead.
When RFK Jr. was making his transformative speech endorsing Donald Trump, Fox was carrying it live until RFK Jr. started to talk about Big Pharma, right? And then they cut him off, right? Why? Because Fox gets 90% of their advertising, it looks like, from Big Pharma. So you can't, and then you ask yourself, and RFK made this point. It was crystal clear when I heard him say it. I said, boy, McCloskey, you're so dumb. You should have picked up on this immediately. Why do the pharmaceutical companies advertise on television? They aren't really trying to sell the product to you or me. They're buying the broadcast
silence
with their
They're
advertising.
buying silence.
Yeah. They are
retribution for those who would break that silence, namely people like Tucker Carlson.
Exactly. And so they own all media through advertising dollars, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And so you got to find independent sources, and you got Elon, you got Tucker Carlson, you got now Joe Rogan in the mix, but people that aren't beholden to anybody.
Who's going to be the next FBI director?
And I wish I knew. Hopefully this time around, I believe that Donald Trump knows where all the snakes are.
I think he does. You know what? Based on the election, I think he actually does, and I think he knows who he can trust, at least for the most part. I'm sure he's going to make a mistake or two, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to make very many of them.
Yeah. Well, as now that we know that Kevin McCarthy's out, that's good.
Yeah.
If we hear that Mike Pompeo's out, I'll be happy about that.
Why? What's wrong with him? I heard that he said some bad things about Trump. I've never heard that. I thought he was liked by Trump.
Yeah, but he's really a rhino, and he's really a neocon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we were down at John Ashcroft's farm doing speeches a couple of years ago, and Mike was there, Pompeo, and he was a first presenter, and I got the distinct impression that he was kind of out of step with those of us who were there, and the kind of the real conservative, constitutional conservative end of the party, and he was kind of the odd man out. He was, of course, praised by everybody, and he got 10 minutes of applause, but he really was kind of out of step with a conservative movement.
How about Tulsi? Is she going to go maybe to the Pentagon?
Yes, I think that'd be a good place for her. Patty and I were talking about this yesterday. She's a single issue conservative, right? She's just outside of her military position. She was really a kind of a traditional liberal. She's a pro-choice type, typical Democrat. But the one issue where she's on the same side as me is probably my basic pacifistic framework, that she doesn't want to have endless wars, and she sees how corrupt the military is.
Yeah,
and the military industrial
that
complex.
fits into Trump too.
Yeah, so put her in a place where she can exercise that talent and not do any damage on broader.
And I don't think the being pro-life, not pro-life, but per choice is going to affect her that much. I mean, that's basically what Trump is too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in her case, you're right. I think she's a single kind of focus, and she didn't take any crap from the Democrats, and finally left because they were giving her a lot of crap.
Oh yeah. She was a Putin puppet, just like Trump, right? Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, what I find interesting, especially with RFK Jr., is that everybody, I don't know if everybody's thinking about this, but when he realized he didn't have the support he needed to try to run for president, he offered to back Biden and try to pull his supporters there in exchange for a cabinet seat. And they said, no, we're good. I bet they're regretting that choice now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and here you go. That's a whole story in itself, because here you got the son of, the great Robert, and the uncle John F. and you dump him out like that. How stupid can you be? And now he's with Trump. I mean, Trump gave him not that this guy's great. He's still a wild liberal. But he's good on some subjects. He's going to be very good about probably getting the information on what happened to his father and his uncle.
Yeah,
because that's still in the files, ain't it?
Yeah, Trump, when he got elected the first time, vowed that he would release all the Kennedy assassination files. Yeah. He says he'll do it for sure now. I'm going to hold my breath, because there's, just like P. Diddy, there's too many important people whose reputations will be forever tarnished when this stuff comes out.
Well, here's another interesting thing. And Bill Gates and another guy, both billionaires, gave a lot of money to Kamala, so their names would not be outed by the Epstein list. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen now? And you got a lot of other people involved in that. A lot of them involved with Diddy. Every Democrat has been involved with Diddy, including Kamala, including Oprah. Even Weinstein comes up. And are all these people going to leave the country? You got about 50 actors that want to go.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Who's going to want them?
I'm going to buy them suitcases and help them pack. I can tell you that.
All right.
But here's the thing, right? All these people, I genuinely believe, I know it to be true in my heart of hearts, that all these people are reprehensible monsters in their real lives. That these people that come out against child pornography and sex trafficking, in their real lives, they are engaged in every kind of abhorrent sexual practice and immoral behavior, and that people like Harvey Weinstein and Epstein and P. Diddy are the vehicles through which they get to express in anonymity the vile nature that they really have. Are they? If the truth be known, if you opened up Epstein's diary and you played all the P. Diddy tapes, heads would have to roll, but lots and lots of heads and talking heads as well. And they're going to do everything in the world to prevent that. I suspect P. Diddy's going to get really depressed, and I suspect the government will have this problem of losing a lot of evidence, just like they've lost the January 6th evidence now. And everything will go on just as normal. And once again, that's the kind of crap, pardon my language, that makes the American public hate politics and feel as if their vote's meaningless, because when you vote people in, hopefully it's not this time, but in the past, no matter what, the big guys get to do what they damn well please, and little guys go to jail.
Well, and that has to be fought, and Trump's going to fight that, I think.
Oh.
The 1/6 thing is an amazing study in fraud, in my opinion, and it was based seemingly on the 1933 Reichstag in Germany. It's almost a replica of it. You had one guy who set fire to the Reichstag, which was their capital in terms of making laws and things like that, and he was a communist, and the Nazis had come in like 8%. They lost that election, okay, but they had the brilliant idea was they were going to blame the communists for the Reichstag thing and get them kicked out by the then president of Germany, and I can't remember his name, but they got away with it, and they became very popular with it. So it's just incredible that this is sort of the same thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, I see Mr. Zink showing up.
Mr. Zink is showing up. Wait, you may want to hang out. Is that all right? You want to hang out?
I can hang on for a few minutes. I'm not Bill Hardwick this morning.
Well, it sounds to me like you're 68 and you're retiring. What the hell's going on with that?
Lawyers never retire, just like McDonald's never retire.
Well, I don't retire. Plenty of guys retire. I like doing what I do. I mean, I've got my son running. He does the major stuff. And I do what I like to do. I go out and I direct traffic on Thursdays and Fridays, and I go to the stores on occasion, go to a meeting here and there. But I don't let it do what I did when I was, in charge of it all. So, anyways, my next guest, and first of all, let me just say this before I forget. Other than Dave Weinbaum .net, where can people find and hire you, Mr. McCloskey?
McCloskeylaw.com, McCloskeylaw.com. You can also catch me on my radio program, which is Mark McCloskey on Fire on News Talk STL. I'm on X at McCloskey USA. I'm on Facebook on McCloskey Mo. But I don't do much on Facebook anymore because I'm so censored that I could tell that I could reveal the nuclear codes on Facebook and 6 people would see it.
Okay. I get that too, as you know, probably. By the way, I also am TSA approved. Apparently, there are no old terrorists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the reason is that I figured it out. I went to Dallas a couple weeks ago for a McDonald's thing, and I was 75 then. Now I'm 76, and actually, I didn't know it, but you didn't have to take off your shoes like everybody else. So I guess if you're 75 and above, you're not capable of doing bad stuff.
You got to think about it the other way, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Maybe after you're 75, you don't take your shoes off that often, and they don't want to smell your feet.
That could be. There's a good point. Thank you very much for getting there, because you're almost there too.
I know.
I heard you were there, quite frankly. Pat called, says, his feet stink. All right. Anyways, thank you so much, and let's hang out because my next guest is here. He's a kinesiologist, and he is a. Let me make sure I got him. Oh, wait. Hold on here. Where are you? He's a kinesiologist, and I don't even know where the hell you are. It doesn't matter. I got it. Okay. He's a preacher, a politician. He's a Division I football player, was a Division I basketball referee. Please welcome my friend all the way from Maricopa County in Phoenix, Jeff Zink. So did Stephen Richer get a hold of you and Carrie Lake? What the hell did he do?
Well, one of the things is, and what the media isn't telling anybody in Arizona regarding our elections, is that there's a lot of false information that the county election department regarding the deadline. They're telling the people who call in, and we actually have recorded online, them saying that you can cure your ballot up until November 15th. Now, according to Arizona statute 550, it requires that it has to be completed by November the 10th. So they're trying to disenfranchise voters right now by saying, oh, you don't have to worry about it. You've got plenty of time out there. Here's what we're trying to get people to do. We've been reaching out to all of the voters. We know who the list of voters are that need their ballots cured. Now, what causes or constitutes a cured ballot? That means that they mailed in or they dropped off their ballot in the green envelope right there, which has to have a signature, it has to have a phone number, and it has to have the date on there. Any one of those three things missing, then it will not be counted. And so we're reaching out to all of these voters and trying to tell them that they need to cure their ballot. They can go to the Maricopa Election Department. They can call 602-506-1511.
Say it one more time.
Okay, 602-506-1511. Or you can go to the website, which is beballotready.vote. So beballotready.vote. Sign in, check your status of your ballot. If there's any issues with your ballot and everything, you just follow the instructions on your website to cure it. And identify. They have to have an identification there, which is your social security number, your driver's license number, your date of birth, and they got to make sure what your address. All of that has to be checked out, and you can do that online. But the thing is that we have volunteers, and we're needing more volunteers in order to drive to all over the valley. We've reached out, we've texted them, we've emailed them. We have no response. So now we're going to their home, and we're going to actually knock on the doors to try to get them to cure their ballots and stuff. So the thing is that Arizona statute 16550 requires that you complete this by November the 15th. We cannot get the accurate count until the ballots have all been counted, and how we get that is because they have to be cured. The electronic signatures are rarely the match to the digital pics that you sign at Service Arizona, some of these other places that do digital signatures and stuff, they don't match up. And so this is one of the things. So here's one of the things that we're going to be pursuing with all of our legislators, which is if you vote in person, okay, even if it's early voting, but you go in and you physically press the button, check all your information, do your signature and everything else and stuff. There's no need to have a signature verification. You're doing it in person. Right. There's no need to overburden the United States Postal Service. It also eliminates any assumption of improprietary aspects or with chain of custody, which is a big deal right now because we have an extra step from MedTech to run back to MedTech to count ours. That's we've got that in court, and it's just a third party entity that doesn't need to be there. We've been voting in person for over 200 years. It works when it's hand counted at the precinct level and it's done by the people instead of by these third party entities. We need to start going back to our high schools and our churches in our local precincts to vote. If we start doing that, we'll start seeing a lot of these issues go away.
You got this issue and it's immediate. And I'm looking above you a little bit, and I'm looking at Are you a lawyer? Yeah, he's a lawyer. I mean, can a lawyer be involved in this and stop this racket that you got going on in Arizona and have for the last 7 or 8 years?
Well, we've got several. We got Brian Blim that got sanctioned because he questioned the election in 2020 and 2022. Okay. We have Kurt Olson, who is out of Washington, D.C. He's also in there. We're asking all attorneys that know federal law and know election law to reach out to us, because we're going to be filing lawsuits. So let me tell you what has happened. So Josh Barnett in 2020 ran against Ruben Gallego. He lost 70-30. Okay. Now listen to the numbers. I then took over and ran in 2022. I lost 70-30. I ran again against the incumbent left and ran for Senate, who, by the way, has more votes than Donald Trump. Okay, he received more votes than Donald Trump in Kerry Lake Gallego's race. All right, so that's suspect right there as to what's taking place. Why would all of these people vote for Donald Trump here in Arizona yet not go down ballot? The other is that again, Josh Barnett, 70-30 loss. Mine was 70-30 loss in 2022. Wow. Guess what my loss was on Tuesday?
I'm going to 70-30.
Exactly. So you can't tell me that I did not gain in a 64% Latino vote or population here. When Starr County in Texas, that is 97% Latino, okay, the Hispanic people that live in Starr County, Texas, they voted for Trump. When was the last time that county voted for a Republican?
I can't. I don't. Probably in the 1800s somewhere.
Exactly. 1892 was the last time that they voted for a Republican. And now you can't tell me that Kelly Cooper and Daniel Gutierrez, were all three of our races here in Arizona, that we did not gain anything. Plus, all of the data showed that the Republicans outvoted the Democrats in early voting. We should have been leading going into it. How is it that they called my race? All right, they called my race 2 hours after the polls had closed, and we had over 1 million ballots still to count, yet they called my race and stuff. So
how many people do you have there that is in this kind of lying and cheating? How many are there? Do you know them all? Do you know who's honest and who isn't? You've been around there for a long time. Don't you know who's doing this? Exactly.
Well, we know who's doing it. It's Steve Richer. We voted him out, but Steve Richer, if you go to his X account, you'll find out that he deleted it, because we started posting on there all of these shenanigans that they were doing and stuff. We had people that were coming to the polling places, and they were saying, we want to register to vote here. Well, register to vote closed in October, and so you can't vote there, except for, we have an exception here in Arizona. You can vote for the federal ballot. So for me and Kerry Lake and President Trump, then these people who come in don't know, they don't have to prove that they're legal citizens. They don't have to prove that they're residents. They don't have to prove anything. They just walk up and they say, I want to vote, and let me register to vote. They can do that and get a federal ballot and vote federally. This is the loopholes that we have here in Arizona that we tried to close. So the thing is that we have lots and lots of things that are still going on. Why is it that Florida, that's 3 times the size of Arizona, why is it that Texas, which is twice the size of Arizona. Why have they already counted all of their ballots, yet Arizona is still counting, still not understanding what's going on? And we can't even begin that because we're still curing ballots, supposedly. And the thing is that every one of those can be utilized against the candidates there. So the thing is that none of the numbers are adding up here. So we're going to be filing lawsuits and doing PRRs and FOIAs and stuff and start looking at this data. This is not even over. They give the win to Trump, but yet take the House. And the Senate may still, Republicans may keep the Senate, but we're going to lose the House. So we're going to be able to keep Katie Hobbs from being too radical. But the thing is that the reason why we're able to do that is because Trump won, and all of a sudden now all of these packets, which we've also looked at, Serbia and China, we have already been told that the online packets that they tried to dump into our systems and everything else were blocked. And so we've been fighting against all online, what's been taking place and stuff. So we've got all this information, but people need to understand this is something that we're not going to tolerate or put up with. We're going to continue to fight. And so, I can't tell you.
Who is masterminding this? Is this the Democratic Party? Is it the cartels, or a combination?
Both. I'd say both, and George Soros. One of the things that we need to do is we need to make George Soros and Alex Soros enemies of the state. We need to block them and keep them from having any undue presence here. Here's the other thing. My candidate raised dark money out of cryptocurrency. She is of Iranian descent. So we have the Iranians, Hamas, that attacked the Jews on October 7th. A date that now is imprinted now that people need to understand what's going on. My opponent is going to be the next AOC. She's the youngest congressman that will represent us. And you can't tell me that this area where she was the vice mayor, everybody has stated and come out that they hate her. She had to be sued twice by Katie Hobbs to clean up the streets for the homelessness because they wouldn't do it. And they have failed policies that have been going on here, and the people are sick and tired of it. Yet they vote for Trump, but they don't vote for somebody like me.
Okay, Mark has been very silent, and probably more than he's been in the last few years for this period of time. So do you have any questions, Mark? Anything to add to this?
I'm just absolutely amazed when they said they announced on Tuesday night that it might be 13 days until they get the election results in Maricopa County. But, I go to Phoenix all the time, and I can't imagine how all those people out there in that beautiful country with all those big, beautiful houses, and how they can all be self-destructive, and how they would want to vote for Democrats. It always shocks me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
How narrow-minded or blind people are to their own fate, and how they will undermine their own economic security and their freedoms just by what? By hiding their heads in the sand. No offense to the sand of Arizona, but Jeff. What are the current numbers on Curry Lake? When I got up this morning, it was very close.
Getting close.
It is still close. And the reason why
hold on.
So we actually have a beat on that. I've been watching that, anticipating Jeff coming on. As of right now, she is only down by less than 45,000, and there's still roughly 24% of the vote to be counted. So that race is definitely not over yet.
Exactly. And the thing is that what happened was, and what we've shown is the fact that Donald J. Trump won. We know that the data shows that the Republicans outvoted the Democrats, and so they're now having a hard time doing this. So one of the things that we're going to do, even though my race is such a big landslide, we can prove that algorithms are in play. because you cannot say that I did not close the gap. She said that she knocked on 160,000 doors.
Yeah,
There's no way, because I was out there, I was knocking on doors, and I never came across a single individual for Yasmin Asari. I never came across them, and I can assure you, I was out there every day pounding the pavement, knocking on doors and everything else. And if she did that, then she'd have to have an army. We never saw it at all. She's lying. She's lying about all of the things there. How did she get $3 million of donations? I barely got $50,000 or $25,000 is what I raised there, and that goes against the 3 million that she raised. The thing is that the RNC, the AZGOP, the MCRC, none of the Republican organizers ever got behind me, Kelly Cooper. Well, they got behind Kelly Cooper there at the end and stuff. But the thing is that they never, in 2 elections, they never endorsed me. They never supported me. They never asked me to speak at any events. When Trump came here 5 or 6 times, I was never allowed to meet him. When J.D. Vance was here 7 times, I was never allowed to meet him. And so as a congressional candidate, I'm one of 9 Republicans in the state of Arizona, and I am blocked from seeing the president and associating and talking to him and allowing him to understand what's going on.
I don't understand that. I absolutely have no clue about that. I don't understand why that would be. You're the guy running, and I know what you think, and you'd be an ideal congressman who would stand up for your rights, man. Maybe that's the problem. You're standing up for your rights and the rights of the people. I don't get it.
Well, of course, in my limited experience as a politician, it became immediately apparent that the powers that be have chosen the winner in most races before people even file for their
well, yeah, but why would they want if they need a Republican in the House, which is what he would be? Why would they want the Democrat to win?
As everybody says, all politics is local. I suspect I was just going to say that, Jeff. People are making money, and they will vote their self-interest ahead of the interest of the party every day.
We're talking about
I mean the voters. I mean the people.
He doesn't need the money.
Run the establishment.
He needs people to run the government.
No, here's what the hard cold truth is.
Yeah.
As long as they give the Democrats the 3 or 4 seats in Arizona, and they keep 5, they keep the majority in Arizona, and they can raise money off of that. Oh, we lost a seat, or we just barely maintained this, and we need to have you give money and everything else. Yet you have people like David Swigert, who has been there and on the Ways and Means Committee and everything else, going out telling people in Scottsdale, don't donate to Jeff Zink because it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. He can't win. Well, with that kind of support, I can't win. I can't have the money that comes in. So I didn't have any money that's coming in. I asked, not a single sitting congressman endorsed me. Not a single one in Arizona. And they all know where I stand and what's going on, but they wouldn't endorse me because the RNC said not to endorse me, not and the AZGOP and stuff. We even had a Lincoln Day luncheon where Lara Logan, who's a friend of mine, I called her and I asked her to speak at that luncheon, and then they wouldn't allow me to introduce her. They wouldn't allow me to go on the stage at all. And so I didn't even show up to the Lincoln Day luncheon. She called me out and goes, "Where's Jeff Zink? He's the reason why I'm here." And when he's not here, why is that? And nothing happened. None of the people ever questioned Craig Berlin as to why that's happened. But I can assure you that they will never ask me again, because if they come asking me for a favor, I'll never do anything for them ever again.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say other than I feel bad for you, and I feel bad for our nation, because you would have made a great asset for.
Well, it's not over with yet, Dave. We've got lawsuits to go through. We've got. I promise, I'm not going down here. We're going to make sure.
I'm glad that's your attitude, quite frankly, because there's only one way to get through this, and that's to fight it. Because you're not going to go somewhere else and find it better. You got to fight through this. So, and I'll do my best to help you a little here and there. Okay.
Well, I really appreciate it. The thing is that, and this is the cold hard truth, because nobody supported me out of the organizations and stuff. Now, Dave, you did. You supported me, and we were able to do things with your support and get airtime and buy more signs that were being taken down on a daily basis and everything else. We were able to utilize the money in such a way that my presence and footprint was out there. Here's the thing: the exit polls that we were taking with people that were doing electioneering at the polls themselves, the exit polls were almost 70 to 80% in my favor. Okay. How is it that it's flipped the other way when we have all of these people on election day saying, in all of the areas like that, I'd sit and talk, and they'd walk out and they'd put a thumbs up. They would, say, hey, I voted for you and everything else. And we just did a running tally, and we had over 300 people in the areas that I was at. And I had maybe 2 or 3 people that walked up and gave me the finger and told me what I could do, that my parents were not married when I was, married when I was born, all of those things there. So when you weigh it,
Mark McCloskey would say, I don't know why. I don't know why I said that, but come on. He's that kind of guy.
Well, and the other thing too is that I get to be on the show and I was kind of giving you and Chris Adamo a hard time about being 200 or 300 years old and stuff, and just kind of ribbing y'all. But the thing is, people need to donate to the Dave Weinbaum Show. You need to keep this show going, because the truth is the only thing that we have, and this is one of the platforms we need to support. Mark in his radio program, and making sure that they keep this on, because the truth is all we have. And if we don't get out the truth, and if we don't tell people what's going on, because the mainstream media sure isn't. And one of the things that I want Donald J. Trump to do is to repeal back the 2008, the executive order that Obama did, which made the mainstream media to be able to do propaganda. And we need to shut that down. So now that they have to go back to the old school to verify and make sure that everything is accurate and truthful, or they're liable, we've got to go back to that. We start doing that, and people like Rachel Maddow, Whoopi Goldberg, and The View, and all of these people, they disappear because that's all they are propagandists.
You got that. All right. Well, listen. I'm sorry you're having this trouble. I'm glad you're not giving up. That's for sure. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you and contribute to Ryan? By the way, how is Ryan?
It's still in prison, and we'll be there. We're hoping that he gets out on the 28th of this month, and then we'll be able to send him home. He'll be under house arrest for another 10 days after that. But the thing is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get somehow, some way to get to Tucker, to get to Donald J. Trump. We need to make sure that the prisoners are released, but not pardoned. We need to make sure that they can sue these people for wrongfully imprisoning them. But they don't need to stay in jail any longer or in prison. They need to be released, but they need to be able to go and go against these judges and prosecutors that wrongfully prosecuted them. So go to giftsandgo.com/Ryan Zink and help support him because we are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to the attorneys and stuff. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I wish you all the luck. Stay in touch and keep me updated as you often do. And Mark McCloskey, thank you so much. Hi to your wife, Pat.
Yeah, she's hiding out. She's up in Chicago today. So, assuming the protests against Trump don't get too bad, she'll be back shortly.
Well, actually, they got a lot of votes for Trump in Chicago. I was shocked.
Yeah. He was closing the gap.
Hopefully we can straighten this country out, and it ain't there yet. And at least it was a good step for Trump. Anyhow, thank you, audience, for listening. I got a really good guest on today. Thank God. Yeah, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Appreciate my wife here. JP, thank you, guys. We'll be back for another edition of Dave Weinbaum Show next week.
Learning lots to be knowing about people.